Dang. All right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special session for all you guys. We have Nick Chahine, lead trader from the Options Inner Circle chat room. As you know, he's there the entire day. He just got off the Sunday session that he does with his members. It's every Sunday, 10:30 to 1 p.m. But typically he is he's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 in the live room. So we will be talking about trade ideas, options education, setups, technicals, macro, micro, the Fed, rates, inflation, sector analysis, individual stock analysis. We have a lot that we're going to pack in here for you today. In the chat, on the Zoom, we have a couple hundred people there. I need you to let me know, put a 1 in the chat if this is your first time in one of these sessions. Put a 2 in the chat if you've already been here before. That way, we know where to steer the conversation, folks. A couple of shout outs here. We got Paul, Fame, Forever J. What's up, J.A.? We got Massimo, Melissa. How you doing? Good to see you. Paul's in the house. All right. Okay, we got a packed house here today. Just keep in mind, we will be going for tickers at the end of the session. We're going to be here for a couple of hours. So understand that we have a whole thing ready for all you guys. In the meantime, let's go ahead and bring on, yes, Diax, that is correct. So we will be posting the link. Don't worry. I got a couple of questions there. People asking about the chat room with Nick. Yes, we're going to be posting that in the chat. Don't worry. Just make sure you leave your tickers until the end. And any questions you have, throw them in the Zoom chat. We will be going over some of them. Now, I believe we have Nick in the back. Let's go ahead and bring him on here. Let's go.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right, let's go ahead and bring him on. I think he's in the back somewhere.
You turned off my video. You turned off my video because I ruined your intro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Hey, man. So listen, I know you just got off the Sunday session. You have a Sunday stock analysis session with members. How many tickers did you review today for them?
145-ish. It's right here. Let's check. 129.
And you go deep into these tickers, for example, like if either fundamentals, technicals, what happens there?
Well, there was a list of tickers across the board. It was people asking for the SPY, people asking for some tickers I would never trade, but I still answer. So the idea is if you have homework, or if you've done homework and you just want confirmation, then you give me your ticker and I'll look at it from any point of view. I'll look at it Saturday night on my own. And then I would also do the video this morning. I had a webinar for a couple of hours, maybe an hour and a half today. I ripped through them. And I usually deliver 3 videos breaking them up. And today I'm delivering 2 because I forgot to hit record on the middle one. So
right. So listen, we have so far we got about 130 people here. Only like 10 people put if they were here for the first or second time. I'm going to ask for this again, guys. If you don't,
I don't think so. I think you said 1 if they've never been here.
So put a 1 in the chat.
I saw a lot of 1s.
Put a 2 if you've already been here before, so that we know how to take the conversation here, folks.
I think there are a whole bunch of new people. You didn't see them. All the ones came in first.
Why are you shy? We need to know so that we know how to take the conversation.
Okay. So I saw the email that went out from marketing about this webinar here today, and it was a little scary. It was calling for doom and gloom. This is what people are talking about out there. That's not necessarily what I think is going to happen. What my job is to make sure that I don't get stuck holding a bag. And the easiest way to do that is not to make wild guesses without foundation. So the goal today is to give you an idea as to what I think is going on with the stocks themselves, the indices for starters, and what are the threats.
Yeah, you're also going to go over credit put spreads, iron condors, butterflies, and if you're new to options, it's okay if you feel overwhelmed. Nick specializes in helping new traders get to where they need to be. Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully today you would at least get your eyes open that there are ways to trade that you're not doing right now that could be a lot easier. Number 1 is don't trade alone. Part of my service is you get a front door to my live room. So I'm available to you like this without my video, only audio and my screen. Let me take the screen.
Yeah, and by the way, on the Zoom, do not use the Q&A. That's not monitored. Use the chat.
So let me find my screen here. SPX, this should be it. All right, is this it? Yep. Okay, so what I want you to open your minds to things you're not doing that you could be doing to make your trading better, your results better, give you more confidence and all of that. So nothing gives you more confidence than trading with somebody else. Like if you had a second opinion any day, every day, you will have my opinion and 300 more. The room has 300 live people every day, all day. So this is not the service. This is sidebar to the service. The service is me sharing trade ideas that don't require you to be anywhere live. And if you want to be live, awesome, but you don't need to be. So during the live sessions, we have a lot of fast trade setups. But the goal is for me to provide setups that will work for anybody's schedule. So if you have a job, if you're an engineer, you're a teacher, you're a parent, and you don't have time, that's fine. I'll share setups that will work regardless. And if you're typically buying and selling stocks or calls or puts, then you're leaving yourself to being perfect with timing. My style does not require you to be perfect. I'm not saying my style is better. It has drawbacks. But if you can combine the two, whatever you're doing, take away some, put some in a different style to see if it works better and see how much of this you do eventually and how much of that you do eventually. There isn't one right answer for every question. But the one right question, the one right thing you could do is if you're able to trade with friends. I implore you to do it. So my service is setting up trades at least once a day and sharing it. I make myself available through a chat room, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's just a static chat room where you can pop in and chat with a whole bunch of people. This has about 400 people during the day, maybe 500. Right now, there are only 70 because it's Sunday. And you can chat whatever you want here. You can ask me direct questions, or if you're too embarrassed to ask in public, you can ask me on the side. I have direct messages. So this is where I post everything. My morning note, which, by the way, you will have a complete roadmap for the day. My midday note, which usually has a trade. And Sunday, I have the webinar for you. And Sunday night, I will have a video that's a strategic video for the whole week, which last week, if you had it, you did very well. And so all this is part of the service. In addition, I make a live room available, which kind of looks mad like this, where I'm sharing my screen on one side and we're chatting all day on the other side. And that one, I'm available to you all day, every day during trading hours, and a little bit before and a little bit after. So that's gold. Say during the Powell event, the Fed event, I almost had 400 people live. And we did not skip a beat. We did not get blindsided. We knew exactly what was going on. The message I had been hammering for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, came to fruition this week. Now, finally, everybody understands what I was trying to tell my people the last time they spiked. The last time Powell spoke, we misinterpreted, the market misinterpreted his message, and we rallied. I was like, wait a minute, you guys are not listening to what he's saying. No, he's going to cut. He's going to start slowing down. No, that is not what he said. But anyway, now they figured it out, that he is going to be nastier longer at a slower pace. So the opportunity for you to trade with me, it's up to you how fast you want to be. You want to be slow, like the original plan was me giving you about 1 trade a week, a day, maybe 4 a week, sometimes 5, sometimes 6, it depends. But these are setups that are slow. It doesn't require you to be active. And you don't need to take all of them, because sometimes I offer 2 that are kind of the same. And I usually say, skip 1, don't take both. And then I have the fast trade opportunities, but there in the live room, the opportunity is like here. Like if you pop into the chat room and you say, hey, Nick, can you answer this? I don't understand that. Like today in the live webinar this morning from my members, Annie said, she heard me talk about selling covered calls because somebody asked about it. They were asking if I would buy shares in order to sell covered calls. I said, I'm not that guy. I don't do that. But if I did own shares, I would definitely sell covered calls if I'm able. So Annie said, well, I have shares in Tesla. How can I sell covered calls? I said, reach out to me and we're going to finish that conversation in private. I just got her message. So that's the benefit. You have me on retainer the whole time for pennies.
Yeah, and it's
I don't know what they're
important to note
charging you
that, like,
today on Benzinga, but the cost I can guarantee you is nowhere near the value you're going to get out of it. How about
okay,
this? What if
it's
I
good.
guarantee you you will be a better trader and a smarter decision maker being in a group of 340 people live all day, every day?
Even if
I
you
can
have a
guarantee
full-time
that.
job, even if you
Say
have a
that?
full-time job, you can do this.
Say that again?
That even if you have a full-time job, you have people
Yeah,
full-time
yeah, yeah.
jobs,
Let's
full-time
say you have
traders.
a job and you can read your emails, your private emails, and you say, oh my gosh, my trade is going bad. Let me take a smoke break, or let me take a break from my job, lunch hour. Let me pop into the live room and ask Nick a question real quick. Or pop into the chat room if you don't want to be in the live room. This is static. It's not live. It's not noisy. You pop in, you ask a question, you leave, you come back, you see your answer. So whatever you want. You want the answer in writing, you pop in here. You want the answer live, you pop into one of these sessions here. So basically, the value for being in a group is tremendous. You have resources of ideas, discussions of your ideas. I do homework for you. I give you the macro picture. I try to interpret the Fed for you. And if you've been in my group, you were like on point, better than those CNBC idiots that have been propagating the wrong message off the Fed. The headlines, if you read them, oh my God, they've been written by kids. I kid you not. Like somebody in a question and answer session for this Fed this past week, they actually had the balls to ask when he's going to cut rates. That person should lose their press pass and say, you cannot go cover financial meetings because you don't know anything about finance. It's like why would you ask anybody when you're going to cut rates when they're still telling you they're going to raise rates for longer than what? Wouldn't they stop first before they start cutting? They didn't even ask that. They said, when you're going to cut rates. That person should be never invited again to that meeting. And if I was their boss, I would fire them. I would demote them. Go cover some, petting zoo thing. You can't cover financial statements at that level. Anyway, it's embarrassing what's out there. Today, I read a headline that had 2 typos in it, like major typos where it would change the whole sentence. Unbelievable. So do your own homework. Do your own homework. All right. So macro-wise, nothing changed last week. What? But the Fed said, no, the Fed didn't say anything new. This is the same thing they said since October. They said in October, late October, whenever they met, they said, we found out a lot more things since September. That's them, not me, which tells us that we need to raise rates for longer to a higher degree, but at a slower pace. So basically, they said, we think our efforts of raising rates are working. We just want to slow down how fast we're raising so we don't break it to see if it's working. We're going to give it more time. In the meantime, that means the rate hike cycle extended. If they thought they were going to raise for 6 months, now it's 8 months or 10 months. I don't know what they said. It's longer now. I don't care. They're idiots. They're breaking the world. They broke it. They're breaking it again. So we can just only play within the confines that they create. And right now, it's the same headline since June. The Fed is evil for stocks. So that has not changed. How evil? A little bit evil, a lot evil, a little bit evil, a lot evil. So now we're on a lot evil. So let it work out. Meanwhile, we do have clues in the charts to help guide us through this mess. And when we were here, my Sunday video was, let's pull back. I actually used AVGO as an example because it was it was a little bit more perfect than the stocks. Check it out. I drew this and I said, the indices need to do that. We were here. I said the indices need to drop in order to build the right shoulder so they can break out in an inverse head and shoulders. So if you apply that logic here, whoops, look at it. Shoulder, head, and shoulder. We built it a little too fast with one candle they wanted to break out. That's still the scenario. So we had a 17% rally. Did you know that? They said, where is the Santa Claus rally? Dude, we just rallied 17%, the whole market. You want another rally just because it is Christmas? That is insane. That's how much of an uneducated market we have right now. It's like after COVID, the pros at Wall Street did not come back. They said, you kids can have it. I'm done. So now it's in the hands of kids. So let's say we have a 17% rally and we give back half. Totally normal under normal circumstances. But this rally was so big that the normal drop seems abnormal, but it's normal. When you rally from point A to point B and you give back half of it, that's normal. That's the Fibonacci golden zone they all talk about. 50%, the 32 or the 61A, 38 and 61A, whatever it is, the two big ones around it. So nothing has changed. This is just price action. And in fact, we kind of covered up a gap, which was ridiculous. November 10th, that was an idiotic rally, and it left a lot of weak points. The indices just filled out that weak point, but now Google, Microsoft, Apple, maybe, they left that weak point open. So if you want to watch one stock this week, watch Apple. Apple, I'm going to say something that's going to scare people. I'm not saying it's going there, but Apple, if it sneezes this week, it can end up in 115, 118, eventually to like 98. But that's not my scenario, because if you lose this, you're going to finish the drop down to here, which would trigger this one, which has a lower drop. So I call these tag team bears, all because we left November 10th, we left a weak point here and we came to it violently. I don't know what was going on with Apple this week. Some weird things going on. Let's just hope it was done. But it is at a danger, because this is a spot it should have held and it almost didn't. So pretty dangerous spot for Apple. Watch Apple to see if it finds footing. It needs to be at 138 or higher this week. Otherwise, it's in danger. And it will find sellers around 144.
Hey, Nick, really quick. V. Jind is asking, I trade in the mornings and I work every afternoon. I cannot interrupt my work in the afternoons. Would I be able to follow your trades? How would I manage to keep up? What would I miss on these days?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't day trade if that's your schedule. I would do what you can check your messages at night when you come at home to home, or in the morning before the market opens, and decide whether the trade setup I shared is for you or not. For example, this week I said, I don't have anything pressing to take right now, but if you're looking for a long trade, how about Square? And I shared a credit put spread in Square. Well, the next day it had dropped a little bit. So if I read the message that came to myself from myself, the next day I would take that setup only a little bit lower, because it was available that paid more, better setup than mine. So that's how I would use it. I would read the message at night or in the morning, place a trade that fits your profile. Not every trade is for everyone. And just manage it throughout the week.
Right, and I just want to add here, the service includes 20 trade alerts a month sent to you by email. So you'll get those by email, Vijindi, and you can always get into the chat room and ask
by email if they set up their emails, but I will deliver them into the chat room where they're sitting there. All you have to do is pop into the chat room and you'll see them right there. So whether you get it through email, like I had a message, I haven't gotten an email for a week. Well, I don't know your issues with the email, the sender, the receiver, it doesn't matter. Luckily, I post them. They're static. You don't have to go to the email. You log on and they're right there. So if you go to my important messages, they'll all be in here. So that don't always rely on the email. Email sucks these days. I know that because I deal a lot with it. So anyway, so if you have a stock to track this week, look at this one and the small caps. The small caps will bottom first. They fell first, they will bottom first. And we had a detour rally last week, 2 weeks ago, I think. That one right there. This one? Yeah, this one. It was kind of ridiculous, where the market felt like they were going to the moon, and they didn't. So let's look at the weekly. I have not looked at it. This tonight, when the futures open, I will do my strategy video for the week. I will look at the events. I will look at the levels. I will look at a few things to tell them to watch. Like, for example, Apple. Look at this candle. That is an entire week, middle of June. We cannot afford to lose the June support. In the market, if we lose the June support, the SPX, that would be a disaster short term. Hunker down. Apple will be 2 digits. On the path to 2 digits. And oh my gosh, you're saying all kinds of scary stuff. Well, I'm only following the chart. Doesn't matter what. NVIDIA was scary up here. I drew lines, scared people. They got upset with me, but we came to fruition. When I was up here, I said NVIDIA could be double digit or low hundreds. There it is. AMD, same scenario. Can you name another stock I mentioned? If you put a 2 in here in the questionnaire this morning, you may have heard me say, watch out, Tesla could be in the 140s if it doesn't recover to 18 to 225, right? Well, it's $10 away from 140. This is the target for Tesla if it doesn't get its act together. So I'm a bull for Tesla. Let me put it this way. I always say don't short Tesla, right? So I'm not hating on Tesla. If I own Tesla chart, I would not add here. It's coming into support. I have it labeled as support, but on the weekly basis, until they recover the neckline that they lost, which is somewhere around 205 to 230, it's a wide zone because the head and shoulders is tilted sideways. The target is either 120 or like 80. So, and by the way, if it goes to 60, sorry, not 120. 120 or 80. If it goes to 60, which is the actual target, like if you take this line, that is the head and shoulder target, it would be at the place of the pandemic, which is where Amazon is, by the way. Amazon already gave all of it back. But Tesla went 150% before the pandemic, out of the blue. That was amazing. Gave it all up, all of it, and then rallied back up to the pandemic neckline, and then rallied 500 and something percent. It's still 50% above it. So from here to here, last time I checked, it was like 60, I'm estimating. It's 57%. Still above the pandemic. So people shocking, oh my God, Tesla had 2 digits. It was there not too long ago. And I wouldn't add to current position. Like somebody today, the question is, I want to own Tesla for the super long term. Can I nibble on it like 1/5 position? Sure. And I would use shares or leaps, and I would sell calls immediately against them. Covered calls. Okay. So let's see what else. So big picture, nothing has changed. The same threats we have still exist. Technically, we're teetering on must-hold levels, but we're still orderly. Having said that, the moves are big either way. We're overreacting to everything. Can we drop? Yes. There are doom and gloom sayers that say that 3,200 and 2,600 or 2,800 in the SPX are coming. Technically, I totally can justify it. As soon as we lose the June lows, we can head there with a series of failed rallies. But I think in order to get there, we need either cheating from the media by completely lying to us and us believing it, which has happened before, or by something new come into the headlines that we have not planned about. I don't know what. That's the, why is my elbow hurting? Anyway, so we could get something new in the headline, something we have not planned on. A shuffle in the White House in the US. It's not that it's bad or good. Forget it. It's not a political statement. Wall Street does not like question marks. Any change on a big scale is a question mark. They freak out. They price it out immediately. Like people are saying, we're going to have a recession. Yes, we're going to have a recession. But Wall Street has heard that statement for a while, and they already priced it in. What do you mean, Nick? I mean that the SPX has lost a recession and a half. In Wall Street terms, a recession is different than economic recession. So Wall Street fell 27, almost 28%. That's a recession and almost a correction on top of it. 20% drop is a recession, 10% is a correction. So they've almost had both back to back. So yeah, we're going to have a recession, but we've been talking about it since last year. So Wall Street may have already priced it in. And by the time the government says, oh, we just had a recession, which could be this week, by the way, I think we have a final GDP number, which could be officially the second negative one, but they don't even have to announce a recession because there's a Bureau of blah, 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 whatever the acronym is. They will decide whether they will announce a recession regardless of if they had 2 negative GDPs or not. They did change the parameters, so they're free to say yes or no. So by the time they say yes, we've had a recession, Wall Street will be coming out. However, thanks, Mark. We should expect some freak out on the headline. They officially announce a recession. I would be shocked if they do. But if they do, expect a downfall, and it could be severe because it's the first one since a long time. Covered calls for Tesla. Elaborate? No, I'll put you on the right path. If I own shares or if I own calls, I'm allowed to sell covered calls against them. If I own calls, I can sell 1 call for every call I own. If I own shares, I must have at least 100. And the idea is to sell a call that's going to die out of the money, like where price is still below it. Don't sell calls that you cannot honor. What does that mean? If I sell a covered call on shares I own, I better be ready to sell those shares at that price. Otherwise, don't do it.
Nick, I don't know if you already showed them the educational videos where you explain what's a
No,
spread.
I have not. So if you join the group, not only do you get this handsome carrying case over here of all chats, but you will get a handsome carrying case for all videos. These are static videos. Basically, if you don't know much about options, you go in here, this will get you what is a put option, what is a call option, what is a spread, and a quick note introductory to the credit spreads. And if you want Iron Condor videos, I have them. What's a cash settled video? I have it. So education is the focus. If you're in here just for trade alerts, don't come in. If you're in here for the trade ideas that I share, but more importantly, to get educated and to trade with friends, I got you. I'm not the best trader out there. In fact, I have people in my own room that are better traders than me. They get in and out faster than me. I do pretty well focusing on the big picture and setting up trades that are boring, that should have high degree of success. And I'm pretty good reading the options. So you would be shocked to know that we nail the close almost every day, almost to the penny sometimes, which is incredible. Can you imagine if you could, middle of the morning or early morning, say, I think the SPX will close here, and the SPX closes here? How valuable is that? If you sell spreads, you know how valuable is that. So we sell Iron Condors that expire every day. And anyway, let me show you some results, and don't take my word for it. So let's look at, I take snapshots. Every time I see messages I take snapshots. So these are from Friday, right? 16th, Friday. Here I said, maybe we're having a rounding bottom. These are fast comments, and I drew here. You can hardly see it, but you can see a little green arrow that goes up to here. Price went up to here exactly and died. So woohoo, go, go, go. And the comments were 55% on calls. This guy trades much faster than me, by the way. And this was Friday. This was Thursday. So Stefke, he's a credit call spread, 100% win. Again, a great trade. So he comes in and tells me, what are the range? Where do you think we're going to close? And then he disappears. And then he comes in at the end of the day telling me how well he did or didn't. That's pretty great. Somebody here was sweating a spread that also worked. These are trades that die the same day, that yield 20 to 25%, sometimes 100%. Okay, Luis, got some SPY calls. When you got them, that was, I remember Thursday, I said, I'm taking calls, and then they exploded higher. And then I said I would book them, and the next day we opened down. We all saw what happened. So if you didn't book them, you lost your money in the next day, but the idea was to book them. Thanks, man. And his day was struggling, and then he was up by the end of the day. So this guy here, Chicago, that's not his name, that's his nickname. He's actually from Northern California. It was pretty weird. So he came in and he nailed an iron butterfly. I don't know if you know what that is. This is calling the close and making a bet on it. So you can, he said, I forgot the number. Let's say 3895. He said the S&P is going to close at 3895, and it did within 20 cents. And he made $4,200 for his bet. And he only risked, I want to say $300, something like that. It was insane. So, and it was his number. So they asked him how, the conversation was like, how the hell did you pick it? Because I learned from the master and picked my own numbers. So him and I have had lessons because he paid for privates through Benzinga. You should ask about that. So the intensive courses, he was in it. And him and I went for 16 weeks back and forth, hammering the concept of how to read the options data in order to nail the price action. So he used his own numbers. He didn't even use my number. So that worked. So this one is what? This one is the 14th. So it's not like all in one day. 67% profit in 5 minutes because I'd seen a drop in the S&P and it played out, and it paid them through puts or whatever they did. This one similar on the same day, 14th. Was that also the 14th? Yeah. So one SPY, one SPX. So Fast Trades did 185. This guy is qualified to be trading on his own, but he says he does a lot better. And he sent me a private email saying, I learned so much from you. I couldn't believe the things that you taught me, because it's just new things. And now he can teach them himself. Okay, so this is, so far I've taken 4 of the Iron Condors with you, and 4 were profitable for me. 1 break even. Love hearing that. A brand new person and taking Iron Condors, and he's had 3 wins and 1 even. I love that. And these pay out the same day. Ryan, he also shares his entries and exits. Healthy competition between Ryan and Fast Trades all the time, poking fun at each other. 20% and he's out. He was short on Friday, so he made good money. Okay, so Wolf here is also trying to get better at things, 200% on the call because of the setup that I had set up for us. It's not like it organizes the efforts. If I'm using my charts and you're seeing my charts, we have a whole bunch of people contributing. Like, let's see, where are they? This guy shares charts and everything. So he shares his own charts with his own notes. This person tracks algo flow, money flow, they call it. And he also tracks algo flow. Today, he sent me a picture of his setup. You should see it. Oh my gosh. So we debated, how do you set up your monitor? So he's using 49-inch monitors. And I said, how about setting them up vertically? I saw somebody with 4 vertical monitors. It intrigued him. So he set up 2 vertical monitors and then 3 sideways monitors. So he has, I think, 5 49-inch monitors, which is way more than I have. So he must be a better trader. No, that's not how you measure a trade's worth. So, but anyway, that's a sweet setup that he has, and he sent a picture. So this is what we do all day. We just go in. Let me see. Are these older ones? Yeah, this was November 15, by the way. So I just showed you that it's not a one and done thing. This is a month worth of activity snapshots, and I promise you I have dozens and dozens more that I didn't take or that I took and didn't share because it's just repetitive of the same statement. All right, having said that, you can see here how the bears are in charge. They're selling rallies. Look at it. You can't deny it. So if you don't want to fight the tape, rally sold, rally sold, rally sold, rally is being sold. And what you want different this time is for it to stop midway and not make a lower low. But you see how important it is not to make a lower low? Because if you make a lower low, that opens the door for a huge inverse cup and handle where the target is this much. And that's where you get these low 2000s mark on the SPX. So that is the pandemic. Now, what will bring us to the same level of pandemic? Another new headline. I just don't think the fundamentals we have now, unless Amazon says, whoa, sales have been slashed in half. That could worry me because Amazon is already inside the zone right here relative to this pandemic. Whereas these guys have not yet. Close, but not yet. And the biggest offenses come from those stocks I mentioned: Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, 3 major ones that pop into my head. Google maybe too also. If you guys don't understand what I'm saying, I don't know about Poland. That headline has already been so we've seen that headline. It's priced in to a degree. There's something like, I don't know, civil war in China. I'm not sure. Something like that. I hope not, but I'm saying something new, not in the headlines. Let me see here. What was I going to say? Oh, so I showed you the relative of Tesla, how it is relative to its pandemic. Amazon, in contrast, that's the pandemic. Amazon is at like 2018 levels, 2019, 2018. So CRM, same deal, probably lower. Yep, 2018, way below the pandemic. Square and PayPal also. Microsoft, not so much. That's the pandemic. Look at where Microsoft is. A lot of froth. Apple. Okay, and my fear is oil stocks. Nick, oil rocks is going to the moon. Didn't you hear Warren Buffett is buying all of it? Yeah, no. So the deal is Chevron looks cheap up here because the PE, right? Everybody says, oh, PE is so cheap, you got to go long Chevron. So if you go here, and if you don't know what PE is, it's literally the price to the earnings, relativity of price divided by earnings. So right now, it is cheap. Price to earnings 9. Price to earnings is 9. It's cheaper than before, but guess what? Let me go to an annual. That'll give you a better idea.
Hey, Nick, whenever you're done, let me know because I have a lot of questions here from people about the room. Just let me know when you're done.
Okay, so I'm just saying it quickly. Don't say, oh, it's cheap, I got to go in. Price to earnings, this ratio explodes if earnings get cut. Why would earnings get cut? Chevron and Exxon don't control the commodity price. They're at the mercy of Saudi Arabia, basically, as far as how much sales they take in. And if they drop the price of oil for whatever reason, it's artificially high. I bet you oil will be below 60. It should be like 58, 55. Then your earning ability will just collapse and then the price will be exploded. So that 9 PE turns into 20, 25, and suddenly it becomes a nightmare. How about I say it this way? There is no way buying Chevron here is going to be a good deal in the long run. That I say this with complete confidence. In other words, if my mother comes to me, I want to buy this for an investment, I would say, no, you should go to Vegas and put it on black. No, I shouldn't say that. But I would say, no, Mom, you can find a better entry into that stock for the long term. All right, you can go ahead.
Okay. All right, folks, again, thanks a lot for sending these questions in. I'll just try to run through the main ones that we got here. So does Nick Chahine go over student trade ideas? Yes, this is a very common thing. Education is a big part of this room, and we haven't even touched on the education, but yes, Nick loves doing the education side of things, helping traders find their own rhythm per se. Are the sessions on Sundays recorded? Yes, they are recorded. They're posted in the chat room. At the end of this session, like once we get to the end, I'll show you guys the chat room, and I'm also going to show you some of the videos that the recordings of the Sunday session. All right, let's see. What is the chat room schedule? Good question, Tim. So there's two chat rooms, right? There's the static chat room, the blue chat room. It's open 24/7. Be mindful, we do have an international community. So we have people all the way from Finland to Nigeria to Canada, Brazil, all over the world. So that chat room is open the entire day, 24/7. Now, the live session where Nick is doing his live webinar, stream sharing, answering questions, private chats, live call outs, that is open 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern. And also you will have Sunday sessions, which is Sunday stock analysis with Nick, where he goes over about 150 stocks. And this is the best training / education trade updates you can get, because every trade, Nick will go over technical analysis, fundamentals, micro, macro, and basically it will definitely help you sharpen up your skills overall, right? And you do this on a Sunday before the week starts. Next question. Let's see. Does Nick provide options education? Yes, he does. Through every trade from Nick has education. You never hear Nick just say, yeah, buy here. No, he tells you, I'll do this, and this is why I'll do it. But also he has the education videos, Nick's private library, where he has videos from what's a call, what's a put, what are the definitions, what is a spread, what's a credit put spread, how to book losses, how to manage your winners. Basically, it's like the best starter kit that you can have. It personally has helped me become a better trader and take that to the next level. So good questions here. Let's go. We're by the last ones now. Do you teach strategies from A to Z? Yes, Nick will show you everything from A to Z. And okay, and a lot of questions about what does Nick's service include. So let me run this really quick here with you guys. Okay, so in the live session, okay, where he's live 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., you're going to get 5 to 10 daily trade alerts, okay, on top of any questions that you have, any feedback on your trades, anything that you need, he's there on demand. Separately from that, you're going to get 20 email trade alerts per month. We're talking about five plus trade alerts a month sent to your email that you can also get text alerts. You also have access to the stock analysis Sunday. That's 150 to 200 plus stock review that Nick will do on Sundays from 10:30 a.m. till 1 p.m. Eastern. In the checkout, you're going to see two options, either the annual or the lifetime, whichever you want to go ahead with. It's up to you. But basically, it would stay at the same price if you do the annual. If you do the lifetime, it's a one-time payment. So, and that will never change. Next question from Jimmy. How much capital is required to do trades in the chat room? Nick, I'll let you lead on with that one.
I already did. It's zero, folks, zero. If you're new to this kind of investing, most definitely you should start with zero money. You should trade with paper and get your confidence, and then start with one contract, and then two, and then three, and then find a level where it's comfortable. If you're not new to this trading but new to credit spreads, then same deal. I haven't seen it recently, but I have seen situations where somebody jumps in, they see a credit spread, they come back and say, I'm down 4,200. How do I close this trade? Like, wait, you took a trade, you don't know how to close. That's not good practice. So it's important for you to play with fake money first to see if that's for you or not. some people can't handle it. So last week we had a situation where one guy, I think it was a guy or a girl, I think it was a guy, who has had quite a bit of success using paper trading, and then he would use real money and fail. So somebody else in the room suggested, she actually suggested a couple of weeks ago, so I brought it up, that maybe it's the emotional part. Because if you can do it when it's fake money, and when you go with real money, you start making different decisions. So you should go back, put the rules that you use in fake money on paper, and follow those rules when you use real money. So it's the emotional part. So
Right.
how much
And,
money how much money do I need in order to succeed in that style? The more money, the better, the easier. I've done this style with $2,000 accounts. It's not ideal, but I can do it. Let me put it this way. If I'm actively trading and I'm trading the SPX, I can risk $400 to make $100 a day with very good certainty, 75 to 85% certainty that I will make my 100. And the most I can lose is 400. Now, if I have a 200,000, if I had a $2,000 account, that's an acceptable risk for somebody that's actively day trading to make $100 a day. Now we're saying $100, that's 25%, people, 25% in a day. Show me somebody that can do, they boast 12 or 13 or 14% lifetime returns on the SPY per year. You have the opportunity to do 18 to 25% a day. And by the way, the trade needs nothing to happen. You don't need a rally, you don't need a drop. In fact, you do need nothing to happen. The way I win with these trades, if I can forecast, for example, Friday, let me see if I can open it up. I shared a spread that pays $1.60, and it expired for maximum gains. So if you did one, you made $160, and if you did 10, you made $1,600. Actually, I didn't want to do that. That's the ticker. Let's go to 1 minute. Okay, yeah, look at it. That purple box. So hours before the day clicked, I said, I think we close inside this purple box. Woo, rally, and then look away and back and close inside the purple box. So that was the trade setup. It paid $1.60 at the time, and I needed the SPX to be between these two red marks, 3810 and 3855. And that I disclosed it. I said, this is not for the faint of heart. This is what this not based on charts, folks. I don't look at the charts when I make this trade. This is based on what I read inside the options chain. And what a messy day it was. It was quadruple witching. It had 2 contracts expiring, monthly expiration, blah, 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 Wall Street. And we were able to nail it. I don't think we had one that went sour this week based on where I think it will close. This was the spread I shared in the morning. So that was $1.90 worth of credit. So if you did 10 of these, you made $900. If you did 10 of these, you made $1,600. Of course, you would not do both because they're similar trades on a similar day. You would pick either. This is the one I did. Actually, I did half of it. I did the bottom end, but I did not do the upper end. At the open, I sold a 37.95, 37.90 credit put spread, and it paid me right away, 50 cents, so $500 per 10. And I didn't do anything else because I was busy tracking the scenarios for other people. This was yesterday. I said we would close inside this and this. So we can forecast the close. And if we can, then we can control the level of risk. Now, these are not trade recommendations. I always disclose them. These are active trader only credit spreads. If you don't know them, somebody should just use paper trades until they get comfortable. So I did not nail the close yesterday. I nailed the box. I thought we would close here. They closed higher, but I still made money. So if somebody sold an iron butterfly, and they did, the same guy that nailed the iron butterfly the day before risked 250 on this one and didn't make anything. But remember, he has 4,200 in his pocket. What happened here? Anyway. Okay, credit means you're getting paid. Yes. So let's talk about a little bit of what I do. All right. How many here don't know options at all? At all. Kinda. Okay. Kinda. Me. It looks like they understand the basics. It looks like we have some understanding. All right. Not at all. Now get out of here. No, just kidding. All right. So check it out. You can buy a stock, or you can make bets off of the price action of the stock. Okay, so the options are contracts to put in effect those bets. So they're just contracts. They come in two flavors. They have chocolate and vanilla. They have calls and puts. And you may have heard that calls are bullish and puts and bearish. It's not correct. They're both are both. It depends on what you do with it. If you buy a put and you don't own shares, you are bearish, and that's the only bearish scenario. But if you buy a put because you own shares, it's not bearish. You buy a put to protect your beloved shares. If you were bearish the stock, you would sell it. When you have a car and you don't like it, you don't spend money on it. You sell it. So if you own Apple and you buy Apple puts, you're not bearish Apple. You're just worried about it. Okay. So you can buy a call or buy put. That stuff requires you to pay somebody. Now you can buy a call and sell a call above it. Now that becomes a spread. You can buy a put and sell a put below it. That becomes a spread. Why? Doesn't really matter. That's a longer conversation, but I'm just explaining what a credit spread is. So when I buy this one and sell that one, that's a debit. And when I buy this one and I sell that one, that's also a debit. So these need prices to go this way or that way to win. For this one, you need price to fall. For this one, you need price to rally. What I do is, I think it's easier to pick a spot where price is not going. Look, instead of me saying this price is going to here, so I'm going to buy this to win, and that's the only scenario that can make me money is if I get a rally, I'd rather say, yeah, price might go here, but I think it's easier to say it's not going to go here. And if that's the case, then I would sell something here. Credit spread. I would sell a put, buy a put below it. That becomes a credit. So I collect money to open it. So if somebody's super bearish, I do homework and I disagree with them. I'll say, you're on here. They'll give you their money, so you collect money. And if price doesn't do this, you win. That's the only, they need a price to fall to win. You need price to not fall. That's it. Price can rally, can stall, can fall a little bit, can fall a lot of it. If it crashes and you do nothing, okay, of course you lose. So only one scenario blows you out. Credit spread. Instead of buying this one and selling this one, I sell this one and I buy that one. That becomes a credit. That's what a credit spread is. Simplification. Okay. We can do some charting. Let's hit it. You can't view my screen?
You want to do rapid fire?
Let's do it. I just did 2 hours of it. I'm ready. I'm warm.
All right. So, folks, if you're not familiar with this rapid fire,
I can probably answer it without looking at it. Let's see. Let's see if I can answer from the top of my head without a chart. Let's go.
All right. So, folks, throw in a couple tickers. Don't go crazy.
Adobe.
Right? And we're going to run through them. I just need tickers. I don't want to see any questions, just tickers. We're going to give you guys a couple seconds. All right, Nick, let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Ready, Marks? All right, we got Adobe, ADBE.
Okay, stuck in the middle of the range, not an obvious entry, big gap below, good company. I would rather see it closer to 332.
Okay, Amazon.
Amazon, already a good bargain. If I'm investing in Amazon and I am not already long, I can nibble a portion. I would rather, instead of buying shares, selling put to buy shares lower and buy a leap maybe or a debit call spread. Good company, it just needs for this market to stabilize.
Baba.
Baba, I don't trade Chinese stocks anymore. My last bet on Baba was a short and I won. I would not touch it. This is not an obvious entry point. If Baba loses the recent 86, it could probably be at 81 or 80.
WWE.
WWE. Okay, I haven't seen that one in a while. Yikes. Okay, so bounced hard. They're selling rallies. You can see it. But this one is against whatever happened here in November. Yikes, whatever that was. So there are sellers between here and 75.5. It's going to be a struggle. Wait for the dip to see how far it goes. If it stops at 73 and it makes a higher high, that's good news that they may be coming out of this descending channel.
Shopify.
Shopify, I like it. I'm going to show you my chart and you're going to say, wow, how did you know that was going to happen? Okay, I'm on the wrong one. Hold on. Leave the page, yes. Okay, not here, I guess. Shopify. 15, 120. There we go. Haha. I knew I had lines on it. So you see how I said there's a breakout coming, and then if it happens, there's another breakout, and it did both. And now it's retracing back. So the question is, have they started to buy dips? Look, dip, bought, dip, bought, dip, bought, dip. Are they going to buy it? It could fall to 34 or 33. I would sell a put spread. See that weak point here from that stupid rally on 11.11? So I could sell a put spread in order to get long. Good company, fast mover, not for the faint of heart. I would not buy calls because there's going to be sellers into 39.
All right, we got plug.
Ugh, not my favorite. So when a chart is that ugly, I have to go study the company. I don't think you're going to get much help from the chart. You need to study the company. The chart says it's as low as it's going to go, at least based on this recent history. So if you lose this one, I think it goes to 10 or 9, but study the company. I would not add to my existing problem.
Moderna.
Oh my gosh, really? Why not Novavax? Moderna. I don't know much about the business. Chart-wise, it bottomed, and they just broke above the neckline. So monitor that neckline. What is that, 197-ish? How they behave around it. I think they can drop to 177, and then as long as they come back above 220, then that breakout is confirmed, and you can expect 280 or 320. I wouldn't buy calls for that. I would probably buy calls on the dip.
Okay, we got Target.
I like Target. I think it's falling back into support. I'm pretty sure I did a credit put spread in it. If I don't have one, I could brave into one. This was a hard bounce. Pandemic base, good company, nothing wrong with its fundamentals. The risk is if you lose this, I think the markets will be down 7 or 8% as well, and it would be 110. But I could risk a credit put spread.
Netflix.
I would avoid it. I want to short it into the earnings. When I say short a stock, I mean risk a little bit of money on puts or put spreads or credit call spread. I have a hunch that the CEO is pooping his pants, that they shrink again in subscribership. And if so, he's going to say, but I told you not to look at that, to look at the growth of sales. Wall Street is going to say, I don't care what you tell me. I'm used to looking at judging you by the number of subscribers, and I will continue to punish you for like 6 months. They did that to...
I think he's not getting enough sleep, right? Wasn't that his only competitor?
Yeah, exactly. He used to say my only competition is sleep. And now they had to, I read a headline about them having to refund. You know how they have a new stream of income from a model which includes advertising? Apparently they had to refund a whole bunch of advertiser money because they didn't have the viewership they promised. Yikes.
Okay. All right,
yeah, so I want to be short. I don't want to be long Netflix into the earnings at the risk of missing out on a massive rally. Don't care. As I'm playing the CEO words and sentiment, I'm playing the CEO words, not a chart, not fundamentals.
Okay, we got QuantumScape.
Who?
QS.
Oh, Quantum. I think it would fail. I think it's headed to zero because they're trying to do something that's physically impossible. I'm an electrical engineer. I just don't see how they can do it. They're trying to make a solid state battery for the EV. You can make a solid state battery, but under a load for an EV for it to work at all temperatures everywhere in the world, I don't think it works. But I haven't been an electrical engineer in a long time. If you don't know, right now batteries have liquid separating the anode and cathode. So one side collects like stalactites sideways, like those things, and then it pierces and it gets through the other, fire in the Tesla garage. So they're proposing that we put solid to separate those two, makes the battery lighter, smaller, more efficient, but they can't do it.
Okay, we have a X from Nikki.
US Steel?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a funny story. During the pandemic, I sold puts in US Steel. Where's the pandemic? During the pandemic, I sold puts, naked puts, and then had sellers support, sellers remorse. Gosh, where is the pandemic? Here. Okay. I sold them at 9, and then I immediately, for July. So I felt bad about it, immediately bought some May 8th puts or April 8th puts, and the stock crashed down under 5. I made a lot of money because they never assigned me. Every day I would say, assign me please so I can get out with a few $100 in loss. Nope, they did not assign me. Finally, on the very bottom, I said, screw it, I'm selling my protection. And I made thousands on my protection, and the stock creep back up, and then I bought back my risk for nothing. So where it goes from here, I think it's struggling. I doubt it's going to get to 33 again here. If it ever gets above 39 or 40, to the moon. But I think that's a very, 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 very long time from now.
All right.
I don't know much about aluminum pricing, but that spike here is a killer.
We got Ford.
Ford? Okay, so technically, I guess it's cheaper now, but I am really worried about the transition into batteries. They are not efficient. For example, Tesla delivers gross margin. If you know what that is, if you take the number of sales, you take out the cost of goods to produce those sales, just the top line, not to mention, you know, everything else that goes in the P&L. Like what it took to make this car. Like if you were a restaurant, that would be food cost and bar cost, and that's it. So in this case, Tesla delivers more dollars from 55 or 58 billion dollars in sales than GM and Ford deliver, with more than triple. I think they deliver like 130, maybe double the sales. Ford and GM deliver less gross profit in dollars than Tesla. So clearly that number is going to get worse and worse when they flip the batteries. Just to use one model as an example, if the F-150 is super profitable and it's like their best seller for decades, they're going to take away sales from that into something that loses them money on the F-150 Lightning, which, by the way, looks like a baby truck. Maybe the model I saw, I've seen two, maybe. And they looked like toys. I would not own them. What is going on with my elbow?
All right, then we have AMD.
What I'm saying is, I'm sorry, that it could be a value trap here. AMD. Okay, so AMD is in the hands of the sellers from the standpoint on a weekly basis. This was my target from up here, and they came close enough that I don't require them to go lower. But if you look at it, they are selling rallies still. So this could be it. They could have been finished with it, but maybe not. So how low will this go? A new low? Then they'll finish the job and get me my target. I don't need it. So if they stop here, that means the markets also are going to do this and snap out of this descending channel finally. So the SPX has been in a similar channel for a year, over a year. And they have also the opportunity to do this into the end of the year and pop out of this, start the year having had consolidated at least for a couple of months or a month to get out of it. So AMD and NVIDIA are in the same boat.
Okay, really quick. We had a bunch of people come in here a little bit late, Nick. So I'm just going to recap really quick what the room here and everything. Give you a moment to breathe there. So folks, the link is posted in the chat. But basically, in the live room with Nick, you get 5 to 10 daily trade alerts, and that's open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern. Then you get 20 trade alerts sent to you by email separately. Okay. And then you have the Sunday stock analysis, which is 150 to 200 stocks from 10:30 a.m. till 1 p.m. on Sunday. It's not like what we're doing here, because you guys will submit those tickers already, and then Nick will basically go over all of them. And the link is there in the chat, but I know we've gone, the link is there. If you have questions, the email is there. This is expiring at midnight for you guys to know. But Nick, tell us a little bit about, I know that we started this chat room. I remember when we launched it, and it was just you and me first. Now you have well over 300-400 people there. Can you give us some examples of really things that you've seen people go from zero to hero, things like that, to kind of show the people what it can do for them?
The live room is classroom on crack, open all day, every day. If you're wanting to learn, if you're wanting to learn charts, if you're wanting to learn concepts, if you're wanting to learn tricks of the trade, like what is a moving average, how can I use it, what is algo flow, what is money flow, what is this, what is that, or you just want to talk stock all day, how can you not be in there? Come on, get your asses in there. We have 330 people every day, almost all day. Some of them drop off in the afternoon. So we have 280 to 340 on Fed days. We have almost 400. Like, I can't tell you how much learning gets disseminated in there. I taught myself a lot of new things this year because of the live room. Somebody pops in and says, I do Elliott wave. I was like, gosh, now I have to go learn Elliott wave, which, by the way, you can't learn Elliott wave. Don't try to learn Elliott wave. It's not that it doesn't work. If you don't dedicate your entire life to it, you're going to get screwed. It is very difficult. So I picked up something easier called the Wolf Wave, and it gave us a lot of good setups. Caterpillar was from it, Deere was from it, Cummins was from it, shorted all three and worked out well.
Yeah.
Long Boyle and UNG was from it. Confirmation as it was a suggestion from
Well, you
Bill.
have your tools. You have 300, 400 tools that people use there. So
Absolutely.
it's
I
ridiculous.
can't tell you how many times people just pop in and say, we're approaching VWAP. I know what it means. Most people in the room don't know what it means. So I'll say, okay, so when James is saying that, it means that this stock, whatever we're looking at, is going into short-term resistance or short-term support. I explain it to them. And then when somebody says, what is algo flow? I'll quickly explain it. And by the way, we monitor all of that stuff for you. So if you just want to be not part of the sheep, you can't trade this market alone. If you don't know what we're talking about here, your opponent, I guarantee you, does. What do you mean, my opponent? If you're alone at home trying to buy stocks and options and sell them, you're against a group like us. You're going to lose unless you're super lucky, because we have information on our hands. For example, when I'm trading fast, I'm not looking at a 1-day candle or a 30-minute candle or 5-minute candle or 1-minute candle. I'm looking at a 15-second candle because I want to see 4 times as much data as you. This is my 15-second candle on the SPY, for example. So I would know how these candles transpired here. So I would know where the breakout is, as opposed to somebody just seeing one candle. I would see 4 times as many on 15 seconds. So I know exactly how it panned out, that one candle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be one candle. So you wouldn't know that there's a seller here and a buyer here. You would just know one candle is this wide. I'm just telling you, it just works better. So you need help. You won't do as well alone unless you're super lucky or super good or both. But even the good people are in my room because they need a room. They either open their own if they're super good or join one that's already running. And it's pretty respectful. It's pretty respectful. Everybody helps everybody else. It's not noisy. It's not typical Wall Street bet. We have women, we have older retired people, we have young bucks, which I try to rein all the time, and you can tell who they are. We have moms, we have grandmas, we have all kinds of people.
Nick, really quick, I want to give a shout out to Sarah, our newest family member. Thanks for joining, Sarah. Let's go.
Sarah, you're going to love it. So next, what you do is, I'm not going to be in the room today. You can log into here, go to the video. So I'm going to post it in the chat room right now for you, Sarah. So I'm going to say, so you can click on it. And if you're logged into your account, you're going to see the videos statically. If you need to brush up on your options, you can start there, and then we can have a conversation tomorrow.
This is perfect for new traders, more importantly, because we want them to take this seriously, like a career, not like a casino, right?
Well, everybody in there treats it like a job, whether it's their job or not. I have pro traders in there. By pro, I qualify them as they don't do anything else for work. So that's the only way they make money. And then I have people who just are professionals and they have their own thing going and just want to make a couple $100 a day extra. Some people have bigger goals. Some people trade huge, but they have big accounts. So if I say somebody just traded 30 contracts, that doesn't mean you need to trade 30 contracts. No one should take a bet that could wipe them out. I've had a couple of people say, oh man, Nick, I blew up my account today. Not from my trades, but they tried their own thing. And then they come back and say, okay, I'm starting back smaller. And now I see at least one of them, I have one in mind, come back and say, every day he's like, I'm doing so much better, I'm doing this, and I think he built his account back, but not as aggressively. 65, that young buck, yeah, I'm 55, so I'm pretty aggressive in life. Like yesterday, I fight for a sport. I got kicked in the eye so hard. The guy that kicked me had to go to the hospital. He hurt his foot, and that's his fault. Because when sparring, I pull my kicks. I don't go full blown. it was my problem to drop my left hand. It skipped over my glove and it hit me in the face. But shame on him for loading up.
Yeah, we're gonna tell all the chat members to go find this guy wherever he is.
No,
So,
he's like 21. He's like 21. Sweet
so,
kid.
Nick, we definitely don't want traders to be trying to wing this, right?
No,
And because
no.
typically they're looking at CNBC and they're like, you're already too late, man, if you're looking at it there.
Yeah, I want you to be methodical. I want you to go into trades that you are confident. Like I would tell you right now, if you need to do something for yourselves going forward, even if you never see me again, put a piece of paper next to you and say, I will never take a trade without reason. And the reason cannot be, oh, I thought it was going to go up. You need a reason. I thought it was going to go up because blah, blah, blah. So alerts, I trade, I post my entries, my entry setups. I don't take every setup I post because I would have, within 3 weeks, I would have hundreds of tickers and I can't do that. In fact, this last couple of weeks, I have had the most open trades on my books ever in my life. And I was feeling nauseous about it because you look, okay, I mean, which one do I manage today is just insane. Plus I'm busy all day. So, but every trade I share fits my setup and I disclose it properly. I don't send out closing alerts. I send out updates. Plus you have me. You say, hey, what about this trade? You have my permission to bug me every day. Do I close it? 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 As opposed to relying on getting a trade close alert from me.
Right. No, I agree. And look, man, you've always, I remember that you've had these contrarian trades, if you will, where all of CNBC was one side, you were on the other side. You ended up being right. You remember those types of trades? I think it was with the TLT, was it?
Yeah, the TLT was one. But now, speaking of the TLT, some shit's coming down there. So TBT and the TLT are inversely related. So the TBT is the opposite of the TLT. So the TLT represents the price of bonds, one particular bond. So if Powell is raising rates, the TLT falls, right? And the TBT rallies. The TBT tracks the yield of bonds. So the TNX is the yield. So the yield of the bond and the price of the bond are always opposite each other. That is a mathematical fact. So when Powell says, I'm raising rates, the TNX will spike, the TLT will fall. Well, the TLT just had a massive rally, which I saw technically. And I said, it's weird. Why would it do that when Powell is raising rates? So here's Powell. Here's what I think about Powell. And so it has had a huge rally. So this week, something is going to go down. This can't continue without some surprising. So let's work through this. If we are afraid of this, looks bullish, right? We rally from here to here. You consolidate. If they take this out, they go to here. But if this happens, it means rates are falling fast. So what will market do? Will they follow the TLT price, or will they say, uh-oh, what's going on? So we're going to have to see some surprising things. Now, this is a bullish chart. Look, they have moving averages that are skewed up. So the machines are looking to buy dips. And this will probably do this, which means rates are going to come down. But the Fed is raising rates. Here's a shocker. Did you know that the Fed is not in control of rates? What? They're in control of one rate, which is the overnight lending rate, which should influence the others. But I think the market is strong enough to say, screw you, you don't know what you're doing. We're going to go in this direction. You better follow. So the market may force the Fed's hand. So we are going to find out in the next 2 weeks whether the TLT is going to take its second leg higher, which means rates are going to fall, which doesn't make sense. And what will the market do?
This is what I mean, Nick. Like, without education, retail traders will fall into emotional trading, like it or not. It's just the nature of things. Without a plan, without a strategy, you can't have a plan without knowing what you're doing, right?
Yeah, you need the macro. And I'm mad enough to admit that I don't know what's going to happen here. But if you give me this chart, TLT, whatever it is, it looks bullish. And I would be buying dips to see if it can break out of here and go to 116, whatever this chart is. So it is, it's an interesting time, to say the least. And if it drops to 103, that would be normal because that's the breakout. Will it come back and take this out? And then the breakout will be at 121. which also be puzzling.
Yeah, I mean, look, education's a lifelong process, and if you don't make informed financial decisions for yourself as a trader, somebody else will do them for you. Somebody else will take your money, basically.
Yep. So these are some pretty funky times we're in. There are no experts. Nobody here, nobody in this world right now alive has been through anything like this before. Never.
What about the gurus? What about the stock gurus?
They don't know what they're talking about. If you hear a statement that says usually, stop listening. Typically, stop listening. Statistically speaking, like in the olden days, stop listening, because this is not usual. We've never seen this set of circumstances before. Never. We have the world living by a tweet or a social media post, unfortunately. The one person's post in the right hand from the right tweet becomes reality for billions, like hundreds of millions at least, instantaneously. That is insanity. That is absolutely insanity. So, but it is what it is. We're living in it. So a true or false, nobody verifies anything. They send out a tweet or a note. Sources to the matter say Apple is going to die. Well, everybody sells like, wait, can we qualify this a little bit? Because they're not news agency, they can say whatever the fudge they want. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely, man. So like, I guess really, I mean, look, when I started, man, I blew up my account twice. I was trying to wing it, but the thing is, we want people to learn and make money while they learn instead of learning by blowing up their account, because that can only take you so far, right?
Yeah. So I've had people blow up accounts. Luckily, it's small accounts and come back. A loss is a loss, whether it's a complete loss or not. A major loss. I'll give you an example. I'm trying to learn the wolf wave. I've nailed it. It gives me levels that are bulletproof and they're coming to fruition. I'm off with the time. I can't figure out the timing element. Nobody can tell me. I've read articles about it. I've seen videos. Nobody has an explanation as to how the timing. Anyway, so I called a drop in RCL and I was like 2 weeks early. So my trade lost, not before giving us a chance to get out. And I said, I'm going to close most of it, but I'm going to leave money on the table in order to suffer the loss so I can retain the lesson. And it came close. So I charted it. It fell to the degree I thought it was going to fall, but not as fast as I needed to, because it took that extra leg before it started falling. So had it not taken that extra leg, I would have gotten my target. Instead, so I said 40 by late December, and that's what the wolf wave was telling me. But I thought week 1 and 2, so 1 played out for sure, 2 would have come, and I would have been complete. I mean, I would have made money if just half of 2 would come. So in any way, I took the trade, it went red, and then it went super green, not like 11%. And I said, you know what, just get out. If you were me, I'm staying in a little bit. And it came my way, but a little too slowly.
Right. It's important to note, Nick, that, I mean, number one, everybody in the chat room is a verified trader. We don't have fake bots, fake accounts, and that changes everything because it has a human touch to it. Everybody there is trying to learn, make money, and we trade as a team, as a unit. We're not lone wolfing.
Yeah, definitely no bots in there. I mean, I know all of them by name. I know some of them on a personal note now. So yeah, there are no bots in there, and there are no hooters and hollers. Every once in a while, we get somebody that gets too excited. Like last week, I had to step in and tone it down a little bit. The friendly competition was getting heated. We had bulls and bears on the same day. They both made money that day, yet it's like they're both trying to act like I beat you. No, you both made money, so who cares? Who was more right? Who cares?
Right. Look, we have to put our ego aside here, and we can't skip steps. Everybody wants to go from 0 to 100 in one day, but that's not realistic, right?
No. So you can do it, but it's not a way of trading, not a way of making a living. If you're in it for the long run, you're going to have to be patient. If 25% is not enough for you, then you're in the wrong business. You're not going to last. I guarantee it. So I'm trying to get the poker player mentality out of the team, people in the team, because those are the people that stay in it too long and double down when they shouldn't. they get big days. I know somebody that took a small account to 25,000, which was her target, and then continued on as aggressively as she was, and then she couple of unlucky trades and back to the lows. So you need to be able to push off the table. It's hard, I know it, I've been there before, but that's also, luckily, it's not my personality. I'm super conservative. I would have stopped at 15 and I would have skipped out on 10,000 of upside. But that's me. Smaller wins, smaller losses, more consistent over time, career-like things.
Yeah, and really important here, like even though there's a lot of trading going on, you have a big emphasis on education, Nick. Maybe you can expand.
This is it. This is it. For me, education is, the trading is a byproduct of us learning all day, every day. They say, does he teach? What? The whole day is freaking teaching. I tell you everything I see in the chart, everything. If you can't learn from it, then you're not learning from anything else. Because all day, every day, I say the same thing over and over and over again, 30 times a day. No joke. I say it all day. So I'm telling you, every line I'm drawing, every mark I make, look, for example, here, this was Friday. So I say, okay, I put a line here. I say we have higher lows coming into a resistance. If we break through the resistance, I think we can do this. Will that help you make money intraday? This line was before it happened. I guarantee it. And if you weren't there, I mean, if you would join us, you would see me do these all day. And because luckily machines are doing all the trading. I already cleaned up all the ones from before in that day. Machines are doing most of the trading. I'm trying to find one that, oh, ES would be here. Okay. Because machines are acting, then they're predictable. For example, Friday, they gave us a hint that they wanted to stop inside this box. I said, okay, so for the next 20 minutes or 30 minutes, watch the purple box. The edges of the box are catalysts. And look how that purple box turned out to be the top of the day, kind of, and the playground for the end. And then I said, okay, so we have an upside scenario that didn't come. And I said, we have a test and another test they didn't approach either. But at some point here, I said, this is tradable. And support held a couple of times. I said, here we have a downside scenario, came to fruition almost twice. And then an upside scenario came to fruition. I said, you can repeat that scenario. Like, this is when it was happening. Like, now they look tiny, but during the day, this was the focus. So we would be looking at them like this. So they would be tradable. And usually I say, when I get short, I can try to chase it or buy it on the way up. So I remember saying, if you're an active trader and you know that there's going to be a breakdown from here and you wait for it to break down, you start to buy, that is not the way to do it. The better way to do it is when you see this, 99% of, I shouldn't say that, I don't know statistically, more often than not, they bounce right back above the neckline. And that's when you enter an order to buy a put at a discount. And you get filled, and then you make money on this. And if you catch this, great. If not, you already made money. So anyway, this happened twice. And then once it held twice, I said, okay, maybe the upside is the scenario. And it came to fruition quickly. I said, okay, you can rinse and repeat here. Came to fruition. So lessons all day. And somebody will say, well, what do you mean by test? I'll say, okay, if it's an area of interest, let's see if it held important. So this was an area of interest early in the day. I would say it was important at the end of the day, kind of an area. It transpires. Look, it was a top here. It was support here, resistance here, and then a breakout, secondary support. So I'm going to blow these out because I don't need them for Monday. I'll structure a new one for Monday.
Nick, it's important to note here that you are really hardcore on the technical analysis, which is the language that the market speaks. If you don't know how to speak the language, you can't understand it.
Because it's machines and it's predictable, and I have a knack for numbers. I was an analyst, financial and FP&A, if you know what that is, financial planning and analysis for hundreds and hundreds of retail stores, and that required me to do a lot of slicing and dicing on numbers. So you develop an intuitive sense of numbers, what sounds right, what sounds wrong. So it helps. And my magic really I get is from reading the options data. So as I'm talking to you here, I'm trying to see if I need to keep any arrows going forward for tomorrow. Okay, so reading the options data is really what helps a lot, because they say follow where the money is. That's literally where the money is. Knowing where the market makers are placing their bets and knowing how to make that work for you. That's really, if you're trading options and you don't know what I just said, oh baby, you are sheep. You are the food for everybody else that knows what I just said. I promise you it's not hard. You just need to open your eyes. What do I use to read the options data? My eyeballs. I just look at the options data that is available to you, and I determine where is support, where is resistance, and where is likely to be a death in the price, where it closes.
Right. I mean, Nick, here's the thing. This is not lotto ticket 101. You're looking for long-term capital account growth. These are serious people that really want to make it.
I'm looking for methodical, building a method, using tools on the technical side to improve your method. If you're not a chartist, that's okay. That's where I am, and I can help you. So if you believe in a stock, I can tell you when not to do it and how to get into it, how to manage the loss. Like the other day, somebody was buried in a stock. I forgot what it was. Unity, something like that. Roku, I'm not sure. I showed them a way to double down without doubling down. It's a funny way of doing things with options. Very high risk, not very high risk, very out there in concept, but I could, show you the details and you can test it out on paper and see if it'll work. I'm not a fan. I'm going to give you another favor, do you another favor, and tell you to never, ever average down on a stock, ever. That is a bad idea. You can average in, because, for example, I'll give you a real example. I like Palantir for the long term as an investment. It's understated. It's overly hated. So I bought 20% stake. And on the dip, if I add more, I'm not averaging down. I'm averaging into my initial risk. If I wanted 100 shares, I only bought 20. So if I add another 20, I'm not adding to my risk. I'm just building into my full risk. That's averaging in. Averaging down is me taking the 100, the stock dropping 20%, and now deciding to make my problem bigger by doubling down. Wrong.
Right. What do you think, Nick? I mean, because here's the thing, man. Like, people think it's just about making money, but it's also about managing your losers, managing winners so they don't turn into losers. What do you think it's the best benefit here for new traders that are really trying to start with the right foot in the live room?
Don't let your don't let your losers run. So I forget what the scenario was. Somebody was kind enough to share a problem ticker. I'm trying to remember the ticker. Anyway, they have 55,000 shares of something that got cut tremendously. Like, it's now below $7. And I know what it was. BBBY. So, whoops, BBBY, the meme stock. So they did well with these spikes, and then they got caught long in one of these spikes, and now they're still long. So I said, well, why did you get out? He said, I got stopped out. He mentioned that he got stopped out on the way up, meaning he hit his profit targets. I was like, okay, so where's your stop out on the way down? So weird that he has machines stopping his profits, but no machines stopping his losses. So he was willing to ride his losses down, but he was adamant about stopping out his profits because he's hit his targets. And I was like, okay, so where are the targets on the bottom end? So that was a lesson. Don't let, as they say, whatever they say, in trim your weeds and let your flowers grow, or something like that. He was trimming flowers and letting the weeds grow. So yeah, you need to control the losses to a minimum. If you're selling spreads, if you're doing credit spreads, you will, if you set them up like I do, you will win 9 times out of 10, 8.5 times out of 10. The important part is you don't let that one loss be max, and they'll set you back quite a bit. If you take a partial loss, and not everybody can close a loss, believe it or not. They're like crippled by it.
Right. I mean, the thing here, Nick, is also to set proper expectations for traders, right?
Proper expectations, indeed. If you come in here looking for trade alerts that are making you rich, I don't think you should look anywhere. You're not going to find that scenario. From my efforts, I think my goal is to teach. And if I share my ideas as examples for those lessons, then you can apply what I'm sharing with you to your own set of circumstances. I'm not risky. So you might want to take my spread and make it more risky. It'll still be viable. It'll be a little bit more aggressive. So I'm here just to share information. I don't consider myself a trade alert service, although I do share my trades setups.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that, stocks aside, you're also cracking jokes there with the fellas. I mean, you have a good time. It's a workplace. That's what it is. But so you also try to keep it fun as well, right? Not just
yeah. And here's a comment. I appreciate you sharing that you had. That's what killed me. I'm reading is that one loss on a credit spread. You should never be in a position where that one loss is actually going to blow up your account. That means that credit spread was not appropriate, way too big for your account, way too big. I'll tell you what, somebody in my service came and said, oh my gosh, I just rolled a credit spread yesterday. It was a credit call spread, which means it's a bearish spread, and price ran through it on the SPX, and he rolled it, which means he closed it today to open it tomorrow, to buy yourself time. If you roll it early in the day, it's actually a credit. So you get paid to get out in trouble. If you wait until the end of the day, it's hundreds of dollars per contract to roll and stay in trouble. So what did he do? He rolled. He was kind enough to share the lesson. He rolled and made it $10 bigger. Like, whoa, first of all, you waited too long and then you doubled your problem. So then it became a huge problem of his, and he let it be that roll. It became a massive part of his overall account. Three mistakes in one roll. So, and he didn't know why he was still short. He knew that he could not take maximum loss. In fact, if he had just rolled it early the first day and rolled it the second day, that correction would have paid him back out. But that's hindsight. I don't fault him for doing it. He shared it, and it was a lesson for everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of learning there, and not just from what you say, but also from mistakes that other people make on their own and things like that. And it's a process. It's a journey. Nothing's overnight.
No. It is one lesson after another. I mean, when I got started, there was no lessons out there, very few, especially in options. There were no options. So it is important for you to either learn by losing or paying a little premium to services that could teach you a little bit or show you how to avoid the easy mistakes. So if I were to tell somebody what's the quickest benefit I can give you is, if you tell me before you take your trades, I can tell you if you're making an obvious mistake or not.
Right. What do you think about algos, Nick?
Okay, I don't know what you mean, but algos are basically what controls the price action. Algos is just, I think, a short term for algorithmic trading. So it's machines trading based on code that we tell it. They're predictable. And luckily we have companies reporting on them. So you can see the algo flow during the day, and you can kind of guess whether the price action is going to sustain itself or not.
Right, right. So someone's asking here, would you be able to have custom strategies? Like, for example, if I want to make $100 a day or $50 a day, can you do that?
All kinds of custom strategies. Last week, somebody asked me how would I go along Amazon if I want to do this. I gave him a full layout that goes months with very little out of pocket. 20 delta. I like 15. 20 works. 15 better. It's just risking a little bit more money at slightly safer distance. I'm answering one question in particular. Use Fidelity, Active Trader, Trolley expansion. Thinkorswim is good. I don't recommend any of them. They all suck at certain degrees. So I recently funded Tastyworks. I haven't used it yet. It looks great. I just haven't used it. Those are the same guys I think built Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim has good charting. It's free, but it's clunky. It's old. It's a memory
I think
hog.
it's good, Nick, when we talk about setting expectations and account sizes, because somebody with a $3,000, $5,000 account coming in saying they want to make 10 G's a day, they need to understand really what's realistic.
I have three or four people in the service that do make that a day, but they also lose 3,000 a day on mistakes. But they have giant accounts. So with a giant account, you can make 10,000 a day if you're good and have that kind of cash, and you're putting so much risk on the line. Yeah, you could, but you shouldn't aim for that. That's crazy for somebody to have a $5,000 account that wants to make $1,000 a week. You can, but you're going to be aggressively betting stuff I'm not giving you.
So you have a daily iron condor that has become quite.
The daily iron condor is literally $100 at the risk of losing 400. You want to do 10, you make 1,000 at the risk of losing 4,000. Extrapolate. Use it at $100 and see how much success you get over 2-3 weeks, not 1 week. You could get lucky 1 week. Use it when you go through a cycle of ups and downs, like plus 2% days, minus 1% days, plus 50.5% day. So you have to prove to yourself, and then start with real money.
Right. I mean, Nick, this is, even though it's a live trading room, again, there's so much education being thrown back and forth, M&A discussions, technical analysis, fundamental, micro,
whatever
macro,
you want it,
live trading,
whatever
everything.
you want it, it's discussed. We track the action live. We take breaks to discuss longer term setups. I share longer term setups in the live room, and if it's worthy, I share it across everybody else. The short term setup, the daily iron condor, I do not share anywhere else because it needs active management. And this market is very fast. You cannot rely on somebody that's got a full-time job to manage a risk that may blow up in 10 minutes. So it's a very responsible way of trading. I don't promise returns because it's up to, the goal is to learn and to find out what works for you. I have a couple of guys that are struggling. They keep sharing charts saying, look, I charted it. I know it was 200 moving average, blah, blah, blah. I entered here and I still lost money. It happens every time. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so maybe this speed is not for you. It's not for me. So I don't try to do it. So, and then I found out finally Friday that he was using 5-minute charts. I was like, you're trying to trade super fast using 5-minute charts. There's no way on the planet that could work out. You need to have 5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 second, 15 second. I don't have sub 1 minute. Okay, so then pull up tick charts. Thinkorswim has free tick charts. 133 ticks is about 15-second chart. I don't get assigned often, and it's not a big problem. When I get assigned, it's because I don't mind owning shares. And if you're trading the SPX, there is no assignment. You cannot buy the SPX. It's not a deliverable. SPY is, but not the SPX. I've been assigned before, and almost all of them turned out to be profitable situations. When you get assigned, if you don't have enough money in your account, you might get a margin call, but usually you can resolve it in a phone call. So for example, if I sold a put in Beto, which I did for weeks at a time, winning trades, by the way, for the group, and I wake up owning Beto shares, I simply can make a call and sell the Beto shares, and then the margin call goes away. And sometimes it's at a profit. Most recently, somebody in the group got assigned short the SPY by mistake. They had a credit call spread. Lesson for you guys and girls. They were short a credit call spread that expired on a Friday, about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. And then after hours, the SPY ran $1 out of nowhere. After hours, the contract had expired that Friday. He got assigned because it went into the money. He was short thousands of shares of the SPY overnight. He reached out to me over the weekend saying, oh my God, I'm going to lose thousands. I'm short the SPY. I got assigned. And the market opened gap down on Monday. So he made thousands by sheer luck, but it doesn't always end badly. But it was a lesson for him, and a lesson that I repeat every expiration day. If you're close to the money, it's pennies to close it. I would close it when it's the SPY because they can still assign you for 2.5 hours, even when the contract expires. Okay, what next? Is it possible to trade the IC on credit call? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Oh, I know you. For ME editor. Yes, we can. In fact, on Friday, I shared one for Wednesday. Somebody asked that same question. It's just the same parameters, just a wider, I can't remember the numbers we were at. So pop into the live room and let me know. I'll regurgitate that data for you. Probably the best time to do it is on the Friday for a Wednesday. This way you get 3 dead days and then 3 days to trade at the risk of a Monday headline, something over the weekend. Recently, we haven't had much over the weekend happen. Famous last words, World War III starts tonight. Can you try for a month? I've done them for 6 months and 18 months. In fact, I think 2012, 2013, I can't remember. I did RUT the whole year. The last one was 18 months out, plus or minus 40% rally in the market, and I still collected 20% on those. Yield. So I collected $110 from either side on a $10 wide. So $220 risking 800, under 800, $780. Those are snoozers, long-term snoozers. I used to call them ICBMs, intercontinental.
Okay, Nick, so listen, for all the people that join here, can you just tell them really how to go by and use the chat room, what to do? Like, hey, get in here at 8 in the morning. This is what I'll do.
Okay, if you join, you should join. Join now. If you join, go into the chat room, this one, the Inner Circle chat room. Click on the video things and watch the videos that are there for your benefit. And then on Monday, tomorrow morning, go into that same area. You will see my morning post, and my morning post will have the morning write-up before the market opens. And it will have a link and a password to where the live room lives. So you can join me there if you can. If not, just join, say hello. I just joined. I can't be here. I'm just popping in to say hello. And then middle of the day, check the chat room, this one, to see if I have an update. And usually the update will have a trade idea there. Right,
Nick. So how are you doing with time here? I know you always got a lot going on.
You can see I'm rubbing my eyes. I'm running out of energy. So we'll do about 5 more minutes and I would have to go. I'm trying to kick bang. I promised somebody I would drink less bang, less coffee, drink more water.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do this, right? So let's just kind of set the schedule here. Nick's going to give us closing remarks. Once Nick heads out to do his homework, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to show you guys the chat room. I'm going to show you some videos from Nick, recent videos, setups, how he does all that stuff. So you can stick around. It's also meant for the people that joined, and I just want to show them how to use the chat room. Yeah. But you guys are more than welcome to stay and see some of the videos and trade setups from Nick. So Nick, closing remarks on the markets and why the folks should give this a chance.
So the markets are violent right now. This week is pretty important. We can fall into support. We have several layers of support. If we lose the June low, have expectations of much lower drops. Focus on Apple this week. It needs to be a leader. It needs to pop back up above that level I showed you earlier. Otherwise, there's a lot more pain in Apple, Microsoft, and Google. Also, there was a question here. Thanks, Mark. Do I trade only same day? Only during the live session. I don't ever say to people that are not in the live session, here's a same day trade. No, we're trading all day, same day stuff. The write-ups that I say, these are trade setups that I would take home are not same day. Okay, so I'm going to leave it in your capable hands. I appreciate the audience today. Thank you for your help. You're amazing. Benzinga is an amazing company. I've been working with them for over 10 years. They have the best of intentions. Let's put it that way. Nobody's perfect, and they're always stand-up people as to making it right, whatever goes wrong. So thanks for being here.
So there you go. Nick Chahine, before you leave, Nick, we got to make it official. You know how it is. Hold up.
Pew, 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 pew.
All right, Nick, I'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yep, definitely.
Okay, folks, so stick around here. Make sure you're here because I'm going to show you some trade ideas and setups from Nick Chahine. But first, let me just recap and say thanks a lot for being here. It's been an amazing session. It always is. But just remember, trying to do this on your own, trying to wing it. It's not 2020. We don't have unlimited QE. At this point, we're the total opposite right now. And it's a totally different environment, market environment. So let me go ahead and start showing you guys some of these trade ideas, some of these videos from Nick. Just need to set up something here really quick. Hold up. Okay. All right. So there's a couple of things that I want to show you, including the education videos, including the trade ideas, the live session, where you're going to find everything. Okay. Hugh Papana, no, that would be separate, but any questions on joining the email, send an email. The checkout is there as well. If you have questions, the email is there where you can reach out to me, and you can text or call me there. The number's there. So back to the chat room here, guys. There's two channels, very important: Inner Circle Chat and Nick's Important Messages. In the Inner Circle Chat, everybody's posting there, including Nick. It's a two-way street. You talk with other members and all that sort of stuff. As you can see, he's posting a lot of different trade ideas. Remember, I was talking about the Sunday session. The link is posted there as well, where you can click and put in the tickers that you want, and then he will review them and go over them and send you that list. You want to join live there? It's 10 a.m. Eastern. There's the link to join, okay? So you can join. It's a live class. It's a live session, okay? That's number one. Remember, we have a Sunday session, which is where the tickers come from. Well, that video is posted in the room. You can see it right there. It's right here, and we're going to watch a little bit of that, okay? But I just have to go through the basics here, all right? If you want to watch the video that Nick just made today for this Sunday, going over 150 stocks, you have to stay here until I show it, but I have to go through these things first for the people that joined. Nick's Important Messages, this channel here, that's where everybody's posting. I'm sorry, that's where only Nick is posting. So anything that you need to find that Nick is posting important as far as joining a session or putting in the tickers for the Sunday review, joining the live session, it's all here, okay? So once you come in here, you're going to see this type of post every morning, right? So right there, you're also going to have the live session. This link, this says live session. You click on this, you download that thing, there's a password, you get in there, and you're good to go all day, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., 5 p.m. Eastern. You can ask whatever you want, feedback on your trades, strategies, setups, get his trades, live call outs, all that sort of stuff, okay? So this is his chat room, Nick's Important Messages. Inner Circle Chat is where everybody's posting. We do have push notifications available. You just need to download the Benzinga app on your Play Store, whatever you got, and log in with your credentials, all right? You have sound alerts here. You can enable them by pressing on these bells. When they're yellow, it means it's on. You can click them on. You see they're off right now? Now they're on. So you can click that if you want to. The other thing that you guys get today, you get everything that's here on top: starter trades, enhanced trades, ultimate trades. These are all separate packages, trades from Nick, but you get them if you join today at no cost, basically, right? And I'm going to show you a little bit of this so that you can see how it works. You click on that, and you see the setups are all posted there. Credit put spreads, right? Everything is there. You have this board as well. So you can get a list of all the trade setups, right? And you can do that for the enhanced and the starter trades, just to give you an idea, really. You click chat, you go back to where we were in the live room. Once you want to go to the live session, go to Nick's Important Messages and make sure to look for this video, okay? For this thing, live session. It's always posted at 8:30 a.m. Really quick, we were talking about the videos, the education videos for the people that are starting out. These are the videos, right? Trade setup information. What are options and puts? Let me zoom in. What's a spread? Call options, definitions, and uses. Credit put spreads, that's the bread and butter for Nick. When to book or set a stop loss, when and how to book profits. Both of these videos are risk management, and it's very important. Nobody talks about that, but it's really important for you to go through this and go through all these videos, especially if you're new, even if you're consider yourself intermediate or advanced. Lesson breakouts versus swings, right? This is really a video that why we use the SPX over the SPY. What type of trade is best and how to pick what type of trade. As you know, you can buy calls, sell calls do credit put spreads, iron condors, butterflies, diagonals, long calendars, all these sorts of different trades that can help you, okay? So now that we went over the education, we went over the educational videos, we went over how to use the chat room. I'm going to show you the video from Sunday so that you can get a sense really of what Nick does on Sundays and a little sneak peek of what we're doing there. But Monday to Friday, it's 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Let me get this rolling here for you guys. One sec. And for those that are asking, I keep getting this question. The link, guys, the link is in the chat. If you want to join, the link is there. It has the full description, 5 to 10 daily trade alerts in the live room, 20 email trade alerts. Okay, you can get them by text. It's about 5 a week. And then the Sunday stock analysis, which is what I'm going to show y'all right now. Okay, let me pull this up. Put me a 1 in the chat if everybody's ready for me to put this video. I don't want to catch anybody off guard. Are we ready to start watching this video? Let me know, guys. I'll give you guys a minute here while we get this set up. Chad and Ray, what's up, man? Good to see you. PVE, Paul. It's good to see these people, you know, like I signed probably 90% of you guys into the chat room. Daphne, what's up? We got Donald Guntherman, the funny guy. Richard Harden, C Pilot, Anthony, Tony. Is that Felicia? My realtor, Felicia? Tia. All right. Okay, all right, let's get this going here. Let me see if I can get this full screen.
All right, looks like I did not record 40 tickers. I apologize. Those who were here, 53 people were.
Okay, hold up. That is the second video. Let me show you the first video.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is the 17th or 18th, I think.
Okay, let me know if can you guys see the full screen? I have it full screen. Can you tell me if you can see the full screen that I have on right now with Alcoa Corporation, AA? All right, y'all can see it? Okay, this is from today. This is the Sunday session that Nick does every Sunday for his members. All right, we're good to go. Let's roll this.
I think, yeah, December 18th. Wow, almost the end of the year. Perfect. Thanks, Solus. Okay, so we have a lot of tickers. So let's hit them, and they're alphabetical. And I'm going to break them into 3 different tickers if I remember. Let me see. They were, if I can remember. I always say that, and I always mess that up. So I'm going to break it up at just before EV Go. Euro versus Australian dollar. If anybody can remember, that would be the last one of video 1. About 45, 43 tickers each one. All right, we'll start with AA. Not an obvious entry point, although it has given back a lot. I would be more comfortable around the 38. By the way, there's going to be a sheet that go along with that, with the write-up. And they will all be listed there with pictures. All right, so that's one. So I would be more comfortable in here, especially that the markets are having it dizzy right now. This one is falling into support, but again, the support zone extends into like 12 or 11.9. So no reason to buy a call, but if you want to catch the falling knife with a credit put spread, that could work. This one, Apple, the alarm bell went off for me. Unless Apple gets back to 138 and holds, it could be in 118. Yes. And when you get there, it could be lower. Remember, Apple still has a lot to give from the pandemic. They still have not gone near the pandemic breakout like Tesla. So I'm saying this could trigger this, which would come down to here, even double digits. This is not my forecast, but I'm just saying if the markets want to correct 10%, this is the guy that's going to take him there. So watch Apple this week. It needs a bounce right away. If not, it's in danger of triggering one bearish pattern to launch another one, which will cut through all of this and come down to here. I'd be comfortable going long in size when they take out this candle or they get into it. So the double digits. That's not my forecast, but it's there. You need to respect it. No way in heck I would ever say, yes, you can go long this stock up here. Not an obvious entry point. That's the easy answer. ABC, also not an obvious entry point. It looks like they have a lot of sellers into 169. And I would be careful, because if it loses this, it can come back to target 1, which is 158, target 2, 154. Those two are in play. Airbnb, good place to start longs if you want to, quote, invest in it. Not a good place to go all in. That $100 candle up here was death. I know there are sellers at 94, so the only way I personally would go along Airbnb is, like I said, I would sell a put spread and wait. I shared it last week or 2 weeks ago. ADM stuck in the middle of the range. They have sellers into 94, they have buyers into 90. If you lose 90, you slip a lot lower. ADSK looks like it has, Autodesk has a lot of buyers here. But if you lose this, you end up in the 160 area. Maybe 176 to 172. So definitely not an obvious entry point, but it could be one for traders. But you can see how big that head and shoulders is. So you can imagine if the market's correct, it will lose this and come back down to 20 bucks. I don't know why I have an orange thing on here. Let's take it out. Okay. So Apple, danger. I don't need anything here. Okay. What are we looking at? AG, not an obvious entry point, falling into support. If it bounces to 9, it will have sellers. So be careful. So it could bleed a little bit lower is what I'm saying. ALB, falling into support. That support needs to hold. Otherwise, another leg lower. I don't know much about the stock, so I imagine if it bounces and it fails because there are sellers here, it can come back, take this out, and come back down to 180 would be a better entry point. Applied Material, there's no reason to get long here. Absolutely none. I would not touch it. In fact, it could be headed to 98, and if 98 fails, 92 or 88 are in check, are next in line. AMD, it's given back the spike of late, and it's trying to hold. I hate the fact that they jumped here in a giant gap, but it has traded here. So 64 could be a support zone, but consider it being extending to like 61. Of course, you cannot lose this. It's still in the hands of the sellers on the weekly. All right. Amazon, it's a good bargain, because if I look at the 1 week, it's unlike Apple. It has already, I don't know why there's lag in this stupid thing. This is pandemic level, so it has given back all of its pandemic gains. So yeah, it can bleed lower with the market on by its own. It's fallen enough on its own. ARCF, a good spot to, quote, trade it up and stop immediately. If they lose this, they come down to 12 or 11, but it's a good trading spot. Not a good entry point. Vulnerable, although strong stock. And on the daily basis, if you remember, that's the one I said I used, right? Where are the marks? There they are. Weird. See, there's something wrong with TradingView. You remember I used it as an example. You need to dip to break out. That's what I was telling markets. The Dow dipped to break out. This one dipped and broke out. Now it's testing for footing. So if it comes back down to 530, I would enter along. I would expect it to come back and try to take this out to finish the job. Won't be easy, especially if markets are correcting. But that's the concept. Dip so you can break out. Bank of America, okay, fallen back into support. I don't like banking at all, and it does have a strong support level. So if I wanted to own shares, I could sell below 29 and at the risk of getting assigned at 29. Otherwise, it goes to 24. Definitely not an obvious entry point. Vulnerable to 56. Beto, I am still long Beto. I'm still long crypto. I made money on them. They're tradable. Somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago, would I sell puts in Beto? I would, but I haven't. I think it will fall with the market. It showed a lot of strength last week, but then it all disappeared. So maybe into this gap maybe if it fills the gap, if it falls into 950, I would probably sell a 9 put if it's available. Otherwise, I just hold my shares. I'm not adding to them, but I would add if they force me. BKI, I don't know it. It's middle of the range. What's this open gap to 56? I don't like that chart. I know there are sellers into 61 and 2. Berkshire, also not an obvious entry point, better at 288. In fact, that's 286, 287 is target of that red thing you see on the screen. The target 2 is 268 or lower. I think it stops at 284, 282 if it does fall. So it's not an obvious entry point. Braze, okay, trying to come out of a base, so maybe it has a rounding bottom working. So 31 would be good news. First order of business, hold 26, 25 and a half. Definitely not an entry point. Wow, that is vulnerable. Down to 165 and 145. Who is this? Okay, BX. I know it's good value. I know a couple of you actually asked for it. That's why this box is there. It was a discussion. So clearly it is challenging. It could still work out. The credit put spread down in this area, but if the markets continue to fall, this one will fall as well. And they are selling rallies. So on a rally, I would close this. Otherwise, I can move it forward out in time so I don't have to get assigned or anything. So Caterpillar, we nailed it. I remember shorting it and doing an iron condor on it. Look at the head and shoulders, it's drawing. You see that? Shoulder, head, shoulder. So if they lose 227, but it's plus or minus a couple of bucks because you have a trigger here, and a trigger here. So worst case scenario, if you lose to 225 and a half, I think it goes to 215, 217. So not an obvious long. Now conversely, look at these nice sharp lines that are failing. So I put the opportunity here. So which one do you want? Are the markets topping, like the markets are going to fall? This one will fall to 215. But if the market's fine footing, this is drawing an inverse head and shoulders as well. So you have a bearish pattern here and a bullish pattern here. Which one will break first? It's right in the middle. If you buy calls, you're guessing. If you buy puts, you're guessing. So what can you do? You can do an iron condor and take money off of both people who buy calls and buy puts. Kind of an idea. But I did that. It was stressful. I won. I walked away. I'm not going to do it again. CCL. All right, so I like it now better than up there when I shorted RCL, which didn't work out, but the chart did work out, but I was a little bit early. Now in the middle of the range. I think it's vulnerable to 7.5, although it could stop at like 7.8. I know there are sellers at 9 and 9.25. I would definitely not buy calls in this one. CLF, not an obvious entry point. Somewhere around 14, there is a buyer. Somewhere around 13.5, there is a buyer. So there's support below, but there's also sellers into 16. If you take this out, 16.7, you could get to 18 and 19, but that's not my forecast. Clover, this is a like either fraud or not fraud. So if you're a speculator on it, it's a buck. Don't use options, use the stock itself. I own some shares. I'm upside down on them, but it's a small bite for fun because people say it is fake, yet it's now a $1.8 billion business. So which is it? I'm curious. We'll see. I don't add. I have what I have. Coin, I would avoid completely. Completely. I mean, the business could be fine. I just would avoid it completely. I don't understand how it trades with the price of Bitcoin. Like Schwab doesn't fall when the markets fall because it makes money off the transactions, not off the stock assets. So I don't know why this one falls with Bitcoin. And then it falls with markets. So I would completely avoid it. If you're stuck in it, put a stop, protect yourself somehow by put spreads. And I would definitely not add, not my style. You could, this is my opinion, of course. Costco, I like the company. It's falling into support. It's kind of following the path I laid out that I hoped wouldn't happen. It's in support. If it loses this one, like Apple, would surprise people and go much lower. Unfortunately, the target of this is lower than that arrow. So we might have a tag teaming bear. Still not done. It still may work out, but I would be cautious to punt it, roll it out before we get in trouble. I don't know what this one. Capri, definitely not an obvious entry point. Good trend, but goosenecks like these I don't like. I don't like to chase stocks, and you'd be chasing here. CRM, it's the opposite of chasing. It's in support. If I'm running out of time, I would roll it. it could still work out. This is a bargain. It's a good company, well managed. It has had a few confusing headlines with CEOs, but now it has its original CEO that championed it all the way up to here. Maybe it'll do better. That acquisition of Slack killed it. Killed the stock, not the company. CrowdStrike, I wouldn't touch it. You see how they're doing lower highs and lower lows? Every rally is being sold. I guarantee you there are sellers above 120, and I can't guarantee you that the 109 will hold. If you lose 109, this one will be 98 in no time. So if you get a rally, get out. If you chase it from here and you get a rally, trade it until you see stabilization and it back to say 135. It's in the hands of the sellers. Look at it. Every rally is being sold. You can draw lines, and they're all being sold. So the next one, if it rallies, I can't guarantee you it will hold. CVX, I still think it has more downside. Finally, the bear scenario is starting to unfold. Now, what the bulls don't know, that the rallies into 175 will find sellers, unlike when it was at 180. So at the top, they were fighting for control. But the moving averages are starting to cool down, which means systemically the algo will sell by knee-jerk reaction, the rallies. We'll see. I told you my view on oil, and it's shocking, and it sounds stupid, but I think they're stupid. So I'll take my stupid over their stupid any day. What am I saying? I think oil is so overinflated, and oil stocks are extremely vulnerable to that fact. If I'm right and oil prices drop, these stocks will collapse, because right now the PE is cheap. But if you take the E out, the P will be huge, and the E completely depends on one thing and one thing only: the price of oil for these two stocks, Chevron, Exxon. So be careful. It looks cheap on a PE basis, Exxon and Chevron, but if you change the price of oil drastically, wow, their P&L would collapse. The companies are excellent. Their numbers, their PE would be huge. Okay. DAL, like the other airline, rallies are going to be find sellers around 34. So it may bleed lower into that wick at 31. No reason to get long here with calls. If you own shares, that's something different. DE, nailed it. The short worked. I think it has a lot more downside. Although a good company, the stock was ridiculous. Let's see what it does. I think it has sellers. Look at the lag on this platform. Did you see how long it took for that stuff to show up? What is happening? Wow. Okay. So this drop is not enough. I think it has more downside to go. I am still short, but I'm very profitable, and I did trim. I wouldn't buy puts right now, but I am short via credit call spread. Dollar General stuck in the range. There's no reason to buy calls here. Weird action on top of here, so I think there's huge resistance above 150, 252. Just like there is decent support into 242, so kind of stuck. DHC. Sellers here, and you must hold this. If you don't, you come down to here, which is logical. But then you would have support, I guess. The Dow, on a weekly basis, this dip is healthy. Remember, I shared with you the fact that you need to drop in order to gather more momentum so you can break out. So this is a drop. And if they find footing around 320, Nick, that's like $8 lower. Yeah, it's fine. If they find footing here and they come back and they take this out, they'll make a new high. What? Yep. This is an all-time high, is it? Holy crap. Did you know this? Did anyone talk about this? That we were 4% from an all-time high? What? How did I not notice that number? This is crazy. Okay, so if you dip a little bit and you find support, even into this candle, even to 310, the bears are going to say, oh, we're going to hell. Okay, we could. But I think it's just as likely, in fact, more likely from distance. We are closer to an all-time high than the breakdown from here. And this is a big time. Look at this gap. Why leave this gap? If you did not have this gap, I would be very, very confident in saying that we will break out to an all-time high before retesting this. But Look at this garbage price action. What morons we were in the pandemic year, all around, everything. We did everything wrong as a humanity. It's unbelievable. Anyway, the stock is still not bearish here. So it's still got a chance, as they say on Dumb and Dumber. You mean there is a chance? Yes, there is. Disney falling into support, if I remember correctly. Look at the lag. Wow, I can't believe it. Hello, TradingView. Go with TrendSpider. We still have some discounts there. Disney falling into support. But if you lose 86, you may come down to 77 or 75. I believe my credit put spread would be in trouble then. Is it? No, this one expired or expires next week. Okay, so be careful with that if you have something like that. Good company. We'll have sellers into 95, so I wouldn't buy calls for a rebound, but if I do, I should put a stop. Duke Energy, I wouldn't touch it here. It could come down to 96, maybe even 93. Resistance above. Dixie. So I think somebody wanted to talk currency this week. I had a lot of currency questions. It's running into resistance. So this is the dollar index. The dollar had been in mega breakout, and now it's corrected hard like I said it would. We'll see. This is heavily dependent on what Powell says and does. This is, I believe, the euro against the Australian dollar. Well, this is going to head lower. I think 1.575, 1.570 are in the cards. EVgo, why are you still trying? No, this is a broken stock, so you need to do homework to see if that company is broken or not. I don't know anything about it. It looks weird, P&L. So study the company. I would not add unless you know the company. EWZ, that I believe is Brazilian ETF. I avoid Brazilian stocks. I don't know why. They just never pan out for me. Technically, if the RSI improves drastically, you could have a big rally, but there's a lot of sellers into 2750. So which one first, 2750 or 2550? If you get to 2550, I think it goes to 24, get long there. If you get long into EWZ, make sure you stop out. All right, what is this? Expedia, falling into support. Same comments as EWZ. The support should hold, but if it doesn't, it goes one step lower. All-time low? Wow, okay. So you can, I guess, somebody say, okay, I'm going to go long that company because it's making money. I'm not sure it does. I've come across it like 3 or 4 times. I've been traveling a lot recently. Is it? Oh, yes. Gint. Thanks, man. Yeah. So I guess anyway, I'll change the limits. In this one, I've been traveling a lot and I've come across it 2 or 3 times. Not one time that I think about using it. So I don't know. We'll see. It's time to stop the video. How quickly did this come about? Wow, we're ripping through them then. Okay, stopping this video.
All right, folks, and now what we're going to do is that really quick here. I'm getting some questions about the live room and all that stuff, so I'll just recap that. And then I'm going to show you the second part of this video. There's more stocks, there's more analysis. So just keep in mind, I'm just going to do this really quick for the people that are having questions. Once you get to the checkout, the coupons are already applied. You don't have to do anything. You just have to pick either annual or lifetime. And a recap on this, the service with Nick, right? 5 to 10 trade alerts a day in the live room. That's open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. And that's where Nick is the entire day. You can talk to him whenever you want, private message him, all that stuff. Then separately, you get 20 email trade alerts a month. That's about 5 a week. And also you have access live to the Sunday stock analysis, which is what we're watching, right? It's 150 to 200 stocks. And that's basically Nick going over all of these setups that you guys are throwing in there, right? But more importantly, guys, I just want you guys to know this is perfect for new traders. It's almost like when a tree is growing, right? And if a tree is growing and it's growing bent, by the time it's fully grown, you're not going to be able to reshape it so that it's straight. That's why for new traders, it's important to start with the right mentality, with the right expectations of what you can do and how you can do it, right? Don't forget about these gurus on TikTok, all these pump and dump chat rooms. You really have to go through the motions with an instructor, with a mentor that is there the entire day to help you. And most of you guys really, including myself, we try to skip steps. We just want to get to the money-making part, but we don't want to learn how to do it. Everybody wants the reward. Nobody wants the work, unfortunately. But the work becomes easier when you have a mentor, an instructor, somebody that is there guiding you through the steps, 1, 2, 3s, all your ABCs covered. And as you go along, as you actually start learning and things connect, that's when you can actually improve and go into more advanced topics. It's like you're in 5th grade and you want to go all the way to college just because you want to get a job. You have to go through some steps and processes to get there, right? So the discount, you'll keep it forever. It's never going to change. This is basically a full year options trading course, live trading, education. You get like 60 hours a week. Basically, you're paying pennies on the dollar for this man's time, literally. And also you're learning technicals, which is the language that the market speaks. And if you don't know the language, you're not going to be able to understand it. The markets and the charts are talking to you. They're trying to give you a message of what could possibly happen. And the better you can read that, the better off you will be as a trader, right? Again, this is not Lotto Ticket 101. We're all about long-term account growth here. Plus, you have a 24/7 chat room, which is this blue chat room that we're showing. This blue chat room is open the entire freaking day, all right? The whole day. We have an international community. Remember, I've signed up people from Nigeria, Finland, Croatia, Europe, South America, Canada, even Hawaii. We have a bunch of people in Hawaii. So there's always people in this chat room, plus Nick, which is there like almost all day, literally. Now, the other thing I really want to cover really quick is that you got to keep in mind that, why do you think brokerages let you get into their system with $250,000 and blow it all up? Like, why do you think they do that? The reason is because they'll make money even if you lose money or if you make money. It doesn't matter to them. That's their business model, right? So if you're going to be gambling your money away, you might as well just send a check to Goldman Sachs because that's what you're doing. On the other hand, our success here at Benzinga with these live rooms, our success is dependable on your success. What does that mean? It doesn't matter for us if the markets are going up or down, right? What matters is that your account is doing better, that you're becoming a better trader, that your P&L is better, right? So as you can see, we short markets, we go long markets. We're unbiased to where it's going to go. Wherever it goes, we're going to make profits on that, either shorting or going long, either with credit call spreads, credit put spreads, buying calls or puts or selling them. It doesn't matter. We're not like, for example, if you go like, on CNBC and these places, they're just pumping the market. If somebody says something negative about the market, boom, suddenly they got disconnected. Suddenly the call dropped. You know what that means. So here, we really don't have a decision really or a bias to where the market goes. Ultimately, even if the markets are going down, we've had traders that have had their best year, okay, in this bear market. Best year, okay? People that have been trading for 10 years, 15 years. In this bear market that we've had, they've had their best year in our chat rooms. Why? Because again, we're unbiased to where the market's going to go. If it goes up, it goes down, it does not matter, right? We're still going to make money with that. And ultimately, I want you to take this seriously. This is a career. This is, if you want to make it a hobby, that's up to you, right? But the more you learn, the better off you will be. And even if you don't have the time, even if you work full-time or part-time, we have trades for everybody out there. We have a ton of people that are trading full-time. We have a ton of people that are working full-time. They both are able to benefit from this chat room. I personally know people in the chat room that have full-time jobs, extremely demanding, yet they still are able to make money in the chat room. So that's really not an excuse anymore because we have the trades for such, right? Even if you're working full-time, you can do credit put spreads or iron condors that are 2-3 months out, trades that you don't have to be looking at the chart day to day, tick to tick. You can literally go to work, come back, look, every now and then in the charts. And the best part is that you have full immediate access to Nick Chahine the entire day, even Sundays. Now, I don't know how many of you guys went to college or not, but you'll pay a ton of money and you'll just go to a teacher. You'll see him once a week, twice a week for 1 hour. Okay. And here with Nick, it's way much more affordable than going to college. You can actually use these skills to make money, to go to invest long-term, things like that. And it's a skill set that you're always, the more you build on it, the better off you'll be. And as you get this skill, as you understand it and use it, you'll have it forever. In 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you will, if you're trading, you'll still have these skill sets. You're only going to get better. And the majority of traders, when they lose money, it's when they are starting out, typically when they don't know much about the markets. And this is why we're trying to change that. We don't want people to learn by blowing up their accounts. We want people to learn and make money while they do that, or at least just learn, but not lose money and blow up accounts, trying to figure things out. And it's very common. I've talked to about 9,000 or 10,000 traders around the world since I've been here. And it really is, it happens a lot. Most people will not say it for obvious reasons, but I don't mind saying it because I just hope that you learn from mistakes that maybe I've made and that you don't repeat those mistakes. That's why we have an instructor, a professional options trader, the whole day. There's no excuses why someone could not benefit from this chat room. Oh, I don't have time. Well, you can always make time if you're really serious about it. But this chat room is for people that are serious about making money. It's for people that really want to dedicate as much time as they can to learn the trade of options, because this is a career, right? And ultimately, people think about opening a business here and opening a business there. I'll tell you what, ultimately, all these people that own businesses, they'll come to stocks because it's less work than managing 5, 3, 4 employees, paying rent and all this stuff, when you can actually run your business trading stocks. And that's why I mean that you should treat this as a career, because that's what it is. And, just don't trade alone. Don't follow the crowd. If you're looking at something on CNBC, it's too late. That's why retail's always holding the bag. And if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a strategy, you're going to fall back to emotional trading. And why do people do emotional trading? Because they don't have a plan or a strategy. But how are you going to make a plan or a strategy if you don't even know what options are? Right? So this is where the education kicks in. This is why we go hard on the education. This is why Nick does all these sessions. That's why he's there the whole day, so that people can learn and people can trade and do all that stuff. So let me go over a couple of questions here. Donald, I've increased my returns with Benzinga. I know you have, Donald. You're always in the chat room. H. Pupana, is it just options day trading, or will include day trading stocks too? So this is a full options community. It's the largest community of educated options retail traders. Okay, I'm proud to say that. And now we focus on options, but I mean, if we're trading SPY or SPX, if you want to trade a stock, just go for the SPXL or the XPXU, whichever one is the leverage ETF for the SPY. So you can always do things like that, but you're obviously going to have to be specific about it. But we focus on options. But just like when we buy the option, you can buy the stock, right? That sort. But good question there. Let's see. T. Silas, I like what you're saying, but I'm having technical problems. Try restarting your computer or just close it and get back in, T. Silas. But yes, folks, look, education is a lifelong process. And if you don't make informed financial decisions for yourself, someone else will do them for you. Okay, I want you to understand what that means. That if you're not taking control of your financial decisions, somebody else will do them for you, like it or not. So if you know or don't know, Benzinga is for retail traders. That's what we've been focused on. I'm not sponsored by Citadel or any of these multi-billion-dollar hedge funds. My goal here has always been to help the little guy, the average Joe. Everybody forgets about the little guy. Everybody tries to screw up the little guy. But, we're trying to do things different here, right? Where, as you can see, these are retail traders, individual people like you and me. I'm a retail trader. And my goal here is to just make it a great environment for you guys to learn in the chat rooms, give you the tools. These chat rooms you're seeing, we built them from scratch. We didn't want to give you no cheap Discord stuff because we knew we wanted to develop this into something big and better. We have push notifications available. It took me a while to get them, but the developers came in and came through for that. We have Richard Judge in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. And look, I do have to give a quick shout out here to Neil, Vin, Tammy, Harvey, a lot of the people that have made this chat room become what it is on the back end. So a big shout out to them. Let's go. But yes, I mean, you're just seeing the front end of this stuff. But I can tell you that coming to where we are now from day one, since I launched these chat rooms here, the progress has been great. The people love it. The results have been amazing. And we're still here, right? We're still doing this. We're going to keep doing this. So just wanted to give you a little message there, right? I don't want you to be vacuum trading. I don't want you to be emotional trading. Forget about these social media traders. You know what's going on with them. These people that have been running these pump and dump chat rooms publicly out there, I want you to just learn and earn instead of blowing up your account, following the wrong people, following these fake gurus, these little kids from TikTok, and just follow a real community with a professional options trader, someone with a verified track record, because of your future self would be able to tell you something. It would be to do yourself a favor, right? And get real education, trade with a real group, with a real community. Your future self will thank you. Your bank account will save you. Just don't wing it. That's why most traders fail, literally, because they're winging it. And in 2020, maybe you could have done that when there was unlimited QE, but we're not in that situation. So it's really important that you acknowledge the current market environment that we're in and how you can move forward and prepare for 2023, right? We don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. That's how it works. So if you have questions, right, before I move on here to the video, to the second part of the video, if you have questions on joining, we're posting the links on the chat so you guys can join or ask questions. I'll show you the video. We'll wrap it up after that. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Let's go ahead and watch this other part of the video. 1 second, guys.
All right, looks like I did not record 40 tickers. I apologize. Those.
All right, so let me know in the chat if you guys are able to see this. If you're able to see the chart right now. Let me try to get a better quality here so you can read and everything. All right, Junkie, you can see that. P. Ferraro, what's up? All right, let's go ahead and watch this back here. Let's go. This is the second part of the video, okay? But if you notice, Nick said that he had some issue recording some other 40, but let me go ahead and just press play here.
53 people were watching. Sorry about that. Things happen. Okay, so Pfizer. Vulnerable up here. I would not get, no reason to get long, although it could have some support into 50, but it's not an obvious entry point. If you missed out on all of the tickers, the past 40 between the two videos, they're in the spreadsheet. So you can see the charts and comments in the spreadsheets. I don't know what this is, Progeny. So I've seen it. I've seen the chart. It's back into support. So if I get long here, I would make sure to put a stop loss of sorts. I don't know why I would buy calls. I could be convinced to own shares from the chart alone, although I don't know the company, or sell a put or put spread. But it's not an obvious rally coming. Palantir, I own shares. I did not add. I have not sold new sets of puts to own shares. I would. I have not done it because I have too many positions open. So I'm waiting for a few to get off the board, maybe this week. Maybe on another dip into the sixes, bring it. Lower sixes. Good company, P&L still good. We'll see how they survive a slowdown in the economy. I don't know what this is. It is definitely not an obvious entry point here. What? What are you saying what to, Gus? PayPal, good company, cannot find support. That's why I'm still favoring Square out of this whole bunch. PayPal, Square, Affirm, and all of that. Iron Condor was the right way to do it. So I think the credit put spread will survive, but if it doesn't, at least you're hedged, so you have to manage that risk. What's the matter, Gus? What are you surprised about? Middle of the range on Qualcomm. Quite frankly, I've traded this one quite a few times, and it's too violent. Like during the day, 1 minute your credit call spread or credit put spread is working great, and the next minute, boom, it's gone on expiration day. So do not trade it on expiration day. It's pretty violent. Middle of the range. Rallies into 88 will find sellers. There are support levels around 75. Big volume. on that big drop, whatever happened. Oh, okay. So, but he was here. So what's the deal? Okay. Roblox, I would avoid it. Okay, this was a target, and I don't know much about it. Rallies, I think, will be sold into 32. I don't remember why they fell, but whatever headline it was, make sure it didn't change the business. The top line is still good according to the P&L, so I don't know enough about the business. So make sure to study that. All I can tell you is there's no short-term support, so it's vulnerable from that perspective, and the rallies will find sellers. Very peculiar ticker. A good trend, but choppy chart. I don't usually chase those. Be careful. There could be some pretty strong resistance above 26. Rangold, Royal Gold. Rallies into 112 could be sold. I think target 1 is 104, 103. Target 2 could be closer to 99. I like it better there. Almost the same comments as gold, right? The GLD. Rivian, I would invest in Rivian for the long term. Like if I were ever looking to buy shares in Rivian, I would take 20% of them here or 30% of them here and then buy some more later, because I'm starting to see a lot of them. And I live in Tesla country, as they say, and that's how it started with Tesla. I started seeing more and more and more, and now every car at the intersection is a Tesla where I live. So maybe this success translates into Rivian. I've seen all of its cars now. I've seen trucks, I've seen SUVs, and I've seen vans, work vans. So, and this is a target of a breakdown. I would nibble. Did I add it? I think I did. Yeah. Okay. Long-term investment, by the way, not short-term calls or anything. You want to use longer dated calls, that's fine. Roku, falling into a giant candle. I guess you can say, I'm going long into this and I'm stopping out if this fails. Simple as that. Tactical trade. The business looks still good. Look at this P&L. But they tell us, oh, the P&L shouldn't be that good. Okay, so everybody's selling it based on that fact. Yet it is that good. So what the hell? You can test your... you can test your intestinal fortitude with trading that sucker. This thing moves fast. SE, it gave back half the rally. So, okay, perfect. If you ever wanted to get long it, this would be reloading on the dip. But I can tell you that it could fall a little bit more. It's a wonky scenario between 48 and 51. Be careful. Shopify, look at this. We cannot draw these lines anymore perfect. Breakout 1, breakout 2, both played out. And now it's giving back about half. So it is vulnerable, like Microsoft and Google and all of those, leaving its stupid gap. When was that? Oh, of course, November 10th. Gosh, dang it, that day was horrific. We are so stupid as a market right now. I've never seen a dumber market than this one. Luckily, we can take advantage of dumb, but it's just subjecting us to more violence than we needed. It's just a dumb market. I cannot believe Wall Street went dumb this fast. It's amazing. It's like after the pandemic, none of the old pros came back, and they left it in the hands of kids. That's what happened. Okay, Shopify has support at 35, but I think it's a solid entry below or around 33. So how do I solve this? I sell a put spread. Spreads are kind of, the quotes are weird, so just make sure you have the spirit for it. It's pretty violent. Not an obvious entry point. It might have a bounce to 86 or 88. I'm leery as to what happens there. Look at the two gaps below. Snow, higher lows, lower highs, drum roll, but I think it's a long time. It's going to consolidate. As long as it holds 136, 132, I'm okay. Then it has a chance of tackling every tough line above. These are not easy to take out. Sellers here, here, and here. Careful. You're going to have to be patient. SoFi. If you didn't own it and you wanted to risk it, I think it's a misunderstood company, but it does have risk from lending, so be careful. If I'm long, I don't add. If I want to get long, I could nibble. If I'm long Affirm, PayPal, Square, I wouldn't touch it because it's or Palantir. They trade the same way. You don't want to add the same stocks to your portfolio. If they can clear 4.8, 4.9, they could get to 5.2. I exited my longs here somewhere or here, and I didn't reload. I could reload now, but I'm long Palantir, so I'm not going to. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. SOXL, better entry inside the box. I know it's close inside the box. We've been right about it, like the zones, so I don't trade this, but I'm just giving you directions. SPG, vulnerable. Nice consolidation up there. So if you take this out, the moon, possible. But it's not an easy takeout. So I think it drops a little bit more. And watch the moving averages. Different company, SPGI. Vulnerable still to 325 or 320 because of the gaps below. And sellers on the bounce. Okay, SPY, what am I going to say? I mean, you'll see the whole video tonight. Could fall lower. Rallies will be subjected to sellers. Square. I would go long with a stop, or I would sell a put spread and hope for the best. Again, it does have a double gap here. I mean, a gap that they didn't fill. They kind of filled, so I'm happy about that. But if you lose this bounce right there at, what is that, 59.50-ish, you could get down to 54. Which would be a better entry point. But I don't mind selling a put spread and risking it. There are sellers into 66 or higher. This one is at target 1 based on this red thing you see on the screen. Target 2 is below 1420. So the rallies into 1520, I think we'll find sellers, and that's how it bleeds lower. STEM, if somebody wants to try a long here, you can with stops. You will get wind in your back if you get above 11.8. Sunworks at support, but a better hold. If it doesn't, you're going much lower. Sellers into 230, so be careful. It's an active trade right there. I wouldn't add if it's an investment. So I had somebody ask for the TBT. I had somebody ask for the TLT. They're opposite each other. So whatever I say here, it's the opposite over there. The TBT is consolidating. That's a good base for a bounce back to 31. However, if you lose that low, that 27, you can go to 24. And this, folks, will tell us what the hell's going on with the market. And I don't know anymore. This one was enemy to markets because if this one's rallying, rates are rallying. But I think this last week, that wasn't the case. So yeah, you could build a base here and get long for a rebound rally, but I would stop out on a new low. Target, it's a good base for a long, but I wouldn't trust calls. I would probably do a credit put spread and then calls if it dips into 140. TLT, that's the opposite. So the TLT is consolidating up here, and it looks like it wants to bleed back to 104. But if it does take this out, it's going to 115. So this, in theory, traditionally, when bonds rally, stocks fall, right? So this is rallying, stocks should fall. But the stocks have been falling because of rising rates, because of what Powell is doing. So this has been friendly to stocks. It means it moved with stocks, because if they're rallying, then the rates are falling, then the fear of rate hikes is falling, then the stocks are rallying. You understand? So there's no relationship, mathematical relationship between stocks and bonds over the long term. At times, they are in opposite each other. Sometimes they're friendly. Right now, they're stuck. Okay, they're still afraid of rate hikes from Powell, but they can't. Now, bonds are legitimate competition to stocks, because if I can lend the government money, the U.S. government, and they pay me 4.5%, 5%, 6%, why would I want to bother with stocks when they can't find footing? So it's a legitimate competition to assets. Toll Brothers. I wouldn't touch it because of all the mortgage things. So I thought it would continue lower. I got, this, but then this bounce makes no sense. What? I don't understand this. If the real estate market is collapsing, how the hell is this stock not collapsing? So I think it goes to 47, if not 44. But I wouldn't short it. Tesla, I wouldn't touch it right now. It could be headed to the 40s. A couple of weeks, I said 140 is doable unless it gets back to, look at this, how the delay in the charts, amazing. I said unless it goes back to 215, 220 and stays there on the weekly basis, it could be headed to 140. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you said, I'm out of my mind. Look at it, 150. So rallies are being sold. That doesn't mean I short it. And if somebody, I think somebody asked, can I build a position in it? If I'm long Tesla shares, there is no way on earth I'm adding some here. Absolutely not, because technically it's headed to 2 digits, which would be the pandemic start. But I'm not saying short it until 2 digits because it punishes the shorts very violently. It's falling on like 1,000 cuts of headlines. Don't fight it. People hate it. The people hate it. The Wall Street hates it. People hate him now because of how the media is perceiving him. The distraction of Twitter. Who cares? They're still selling every car they make. What is the deal? Anyway, I wouldn't add. There will be a time to catch the falling knife. And if you force me to trade it, I would sell a put or a put spread and leave room for error. Let it fall to 110. Twilio, good company. I don't trade it anymore because now it's a headline stock. There was talk of it going private, delisting itself, blah, 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 blah. When that happens, I stop looking at this chart. I would not trade it for all the money in the world. Uber, I'm starting to warm up on it again, but it is a weird company. I mean, the other day I went online to see if I can join Uber One. You'd think they would have a button and say, here, if you had joined Uber One based on your last month's spending, you would have saved X. Nope, there's no such thing. So I'm left to wonder if Uber One is for me. And if I sign up for Uber One, I wouldn't want to pay $9 a month. I would want to pay $99 a year and save 2 months for free. Then again, I don't want to pay that and then not know it's going to play back. All they said is the average saving is $15 a month or something. Like, what? Yeah, I'm not going to do it. So they have all the assets. I just think they're missing the leadership. I wish it was the hand on the guy from Amazon. That's all I say. Rallies into 28, I think we'll find sellers. So if you force me to go long Uber, I would sell a put spread or puts to own shares. UNG nailed this sucker on the way up. And I would not go long here because I don't have any clues. Look at it. It has just as much action below and just as much above. 22 looks very pivotal, 22.1. So I think if it takes out this cluster, it could explode back to 25 or higher. But that's a crazy.
All right, folks, that was a sneak peek of the Sunday session that Nick does. It's every Sunday. If you have any questions right now before we do wrap this session, let me know. Put it in the chat before we do wrap things up here. I've been here literally since about 12:30. So I've been going for about 4 hours now. So if you have questions, put it now before we do wrap it up. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes. I've gotten a couple of emails from some of y'all. Feel free to do that or call or text, whatever works. Keep in mind, this is valid until midnight. Next year, there's going to be a new structure, new pricing. So just make sure that if you have questions and you want to join before the end of the year, you can reach out specifically for this one that expires at midnight with Nick. Just to recap, right? 5 to 10 trade alerts a day in the live room, every single day. All right. And these are not just day trading trades. Some of these trades are swings. Some of them are longer term setups. And you can go in and request a trade that you want. Literally any trade setup that you're looking for. You can literally just tell Nick, hey, Nick, I'm trying to make $100 a day or $150 a day. And I don't want it to be a risky trade. So I want you guys to just keep that in mind, okay? There's no such thing as a one size fits all. It just does not exist. We all have different risk profiles. We all have different account sizes. We all have different financial goals. We all have, I mean, there's no two alike. So I think it's important to keep that, set proper expectations so that you actually know what you can get in there. Unfortunately, no, you can watch live, Zawar. That's, everybody can watch live while we had it. But all right, folks, if there's no more questions here about the live room, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for being here, for putting, some time here on your Sunday to focus on becoming a better trader. If you do want to take it to the next level, I'm telling you, there's nothing like trading in our community. There's no other community like this. I've been looking, promise you that. The feeling, the vibe, the energy that we have there, it's just not, you can't really compare it to anything. My goal, my focus here is to continue improving this room, continue making it a better experience for all you folks, day traders, swing traders, leap buyers, Forex traders, commodity traders, equity traders. We have all sorts of traders in the chat room, and we all learn from each other. We trade as a unit, we trade as a group. We're not really trying to wing it. We're trying to use probabilities in our advantage, meaning the trades that we're making with credit put spreads and iron condors, we're looking for high probabilities of success in our trades. We're looking for consistency. We're not trying to gamble the account. This is not Lotto Ticket 101. This is meant for people that are serious about creating income, serious about learning a skill set that will be with you forever, a skill set that you can pass on to your kids and teach them and show them how to do this, right? It's much better to do this by yourself, because if you really think about it, the reason why financial advisors make it so complicated, sound so complex, it's because they want you to feel overwhelmed so that you can just hand them over your money and they could charge you whatever it is on all the profits. And even if you lose money, they're still going to charge you. So my suggestion is to learn the skill set, right? We have an instructor the entire day. We have a professional options trader that is guiding you through every single step of every trade that you want to make, right? It's like if you're going to war, you don't even know how to shoot a gun. Why are you even going? You need to take the training. You need to absolutely know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just going to fail like all the other traders that do it, because they want to trade without a plan. And it's really hard to make a plan if you don't know what you're doing. So I wish you guys the best of success in trading. My goal here is for you to make money in this chat room. I want you to be successful. I want you to make money in your trades. That is my goal. That's what I want from you, okay? So obviously I cannot do everything for you. I cannot really, go in there and force you to read and force you to be in the chat room. Unfortunately, I don't have that skill set, but with the live room, you will have more than enough resources. I mean, having Nick there from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., it's just, you're not going to find that anywhere. And Sundays. So you have him all day where you can ask him any sort of question that you want. There's no limits, full freedom of speech where you can ask anything about options, equities, Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, the energy sector, whatever it is that you're trying to learn from and how to trade it. That is where you're going to be able to do it. Stop going to these pump and dump chat rooms, Reddit wallboards, Reddit, Wall Street bets, all these things. Don't be the sucker left holding the bag, okay? That's my goal. I want you to become a successful trader. I want you to become a better trader. You might be good, but you can always be better. That's the most important thing here, all right? Ashvin, I'm posting the link again for you one more time there in the chat. Give me a moment. Nancy, good to see you. It's always great to see you, Nancy. I hope you're doing well. It's my friend from Vegas. So yes, you already know how it is here. So yes, Ashman, all the details are there. The link is there so that you can pop it and check it out. If you have questions, my email is there. My number is there. Big shout out to all you guys. Andre, Brian, George, Frank, Felicia, Hassan, John, D, Nikki, what's up? Terry, T. Silas, Jasandro. All right, folks. And of course, my brother, Richard Judge. All right, big shout out to you guys. We'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And we'll see you in the chat room, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah.